College Kings is back with your boys, Nate Dogg, and of course, CDM. What's up, my brother?
Welcome back, you lovely people. Welcome back, sir. Oh man, another great week of college football. Obviously, just had Gabe on, so we got some other perspective on college football from another person. Ready to get into it and talk about some of these amazing games we had this weekend.
Yes, like CDM said, we had a little mini thing with Gabe before the pod. We pre-recorded it. Going to throw it in the middle of it. It is our playoff and Heisman Watch, as well as our playoff prediction. Gabe joined us for that little segment. It's about close to an hour-ish, so I hope y'all enjoyed that. We're going to go through some mini news that's going to be affecting the college football landscape. Some big news and some bigger news that we have to at least touch on for a little bit. Not much news about one of those things yet, but we know a little bit about it. We're going to give our perspectives on that, and then of course we're going to do a quick little recap on some of the big games this week. We had some big ones, we got some upsets, had some near upsets, so we're going to talk about all of those games, and then of course we're going to close out the podcast with our game picks. As always, CDM remains with a 1-game lead as we both go 5. We've been cooking the past 5-1 this last week.
Dude, we have been cooking right now.
We're cooking these past 2 weeks. I've been like, geez, I can't shake this guy. I'm over here picking great games, but we're also picking the same games because we're both smart and we kind of know football. So hey,
we know, yeah.
We just took a little time to get in our groove here. Now we're cooking with gravy and we're
cooking with oil, baby. Let's go.
Hey, let's do this thing. Let's get right into it though. Some mini college football news. We'll get through this kind of quick and give a quick little opinion on these things. We got Quinn Ewers, one of the best players in the country, man. This is a big loss indeed. Missing the next 2 to 4 weeks with a grade 2 AC joint sprain that's in the shoulder. We've seen some players with it, had to battle through it. Derek Carr in the NFL. We saw Deshaun Watson. Anthony Richardson actually had such a bad injury with it that he has to have season-ending surgery. It's not that bad. Luckily for Quinn Ewers, he can come back if his team can stay afloat, get into that Big 12 championship with a chance to make the playoffs. So everything is still possible for him as the backup comes in. But CDM, I'm going to send it to you. Do you think they are in trouble now that they are down? Quinn Ewers, no, it's no Manning. This is not Manning's team. Not yet.
Oh, no, not yet, no. I think it is a little scary. I think this could be a little scary time for Texas right now because that offense revolves around Quinn Ewers as well. Coming off a bye week, that really sucks as well, just because you had all that time in preparation and then this happens to your leading quarterback. So it sucks because this is 2 back-to-back seasons where he's had injuries where he has to miss time, and this is probably the worst time because it's straight divisional play. It's crunch time moments. Every game matters. And Texas is going to have to find ways to win without him. Texas is going to have to find ways to overcome everything in their path to get to a Big 12 championship and possibly face Oklahoma to possibly make the playoffs. There's so many possibilities here and there and everywhere. Yes, no Arch. I don't think Arch will be playing at all this season unless they're blowing a team out 70-0. But I think I was talking to my boy Joey. I went and got some food today and talking to my boy Joey. He's a Texas fan. And I looked at it, I was like, hey, man, are you scared right now just because he's not playing for a couple weeks? He's like, I'm a little nervous. Nerves are okay to have, especially with a team with this high caliber offense and good coaching as well. So I wouldn't say it's I wouldn't say it's like defining your season right now, but it is pretty scary just because, this is your captain of your team. And, I wouldn't say that their playoff hopes are over. But they are kind of in jeopardy. So they're going to need Malik Heath to play really good football, really smart football as well. Steve is good. We're going to have to see Steve coach a lot better now. More elite coaching is going to have to come into play. But I would. It's kind of like walking on eggshells right now. You got to be careful with Texas. Yes. Texas got to be careful right now. So I would be scared. I would be scared just a little bit, not too much though. Not too much. There's still time to get this team back on track. I hope he's only out for 2 weeks. 2 weeks would be fine, but if you want to play it safe, keep him out for 4, get him fully healthy because you want him to play at his best.
Yeah, you said it the best. This team's got a lot in front of them still, but when you look at their schedule for the remainder of the year, it's in conference, but these conference games have always been tough, even though these teams might not be, the powerhouses they were in the last couple of seasons, but you have Oh, what a sack! That was a big sack. But I mean, you got this BYU game this week, the Kansas State game, who has been really good. Not this year; they haven't been great, but
They're sneaky.
They're still
sneaky.
Hey, they're still 5-2. They're not a bad football team. And then TCU, they had a massive win against BYU the other week, a couple weeks ago. And then Iowa State and Texas Tech, and then Texas Tech, they had high expectations this year, obviously underperforming very, very low. But yeah, this is a little scary. This is scary when it comes to your opportunity to come back and go back to the Big 12 championship and possibly beat Oklahoma to make it to the college football playoffs. I mean, yeah, you don't want to ever see this. Oh, dang it. Stop throwing. Oh, my goodness. Sorry.
I need this 49ers offense to start cooking.
I need TJ Hawkinson so bad, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen.
I know you do. Oh, I know you do.
But, yeah, man, this is a tough one. You don't want to ever see this with a player. I like Quinn a lot. I hope this is just a one-time thing that's not going to affect his career at all. But yeah, I mean, you can't act like you're not scared when you're Texas. I mean, when you got Murphy, he's good, but he's not Quinn Ewers. He's not the same kind of a player.
Did I say Malik Heath? I meant, but yeah, Murphy. Sorry, Murphy is what I meant. Not Malik.
Isn't it Malik Murphy or something like that?
I think it's Malik Murphy. I said Malik Heath. It's another player.
Yeah, you got it, Malik Murphy. That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. I do think it's scary. You can't act like it's not. So we'll see. Wishing the best to his recovery as always. Oh my God, that was almost a pick, my friend. But let's move on to a massive controversy that at first everyone's like, well, everyone does this, and then everyone finds out, well, they're doing a little bit more than just what everyone else is doing. Michigan Wolverines. Michigan University has been caught up in another controversy. This one is sign stealing. And we don't want to give any false narratives. We'll give you the rule in the rule book. This is what it says. Technically what you cannot do. Any attempt to, this is in quotes, any attempt to record either through audio or video means any signal given by an opposing player, coach, or other team personnel is prohibited. So that is the technical thing you cannot do. What's going around is that apparently Michigan personnel was being sent to football games of past opponents and possible opponents, future opponents, to just watch signs and pretty much record data to where they know which sign means what signal means what, and it's just another form of Spygate and the Astros and in the MLB when they got caught stealing signs.
Got caught slacking, dude.
Hey, a lot of teams do a lot of things. But
So I read about this today because I didn't really know this was happening until yesterday when I saw it. They had Michigan recently has suspended indefinitely a member of their staff because he has been buying 30 tickets to 11 plus more Big Ten games the past few seasons.
Oh,
stealing signs. Over. 30 games.
Yeah, it's over.
Like that, man. Dude, it's over. It's done with. Like, I think that causes I think what happens if you do get caught for it and you do get like, not accused, but what am I trying to say? You get judged for it and they pass the sentence to, I think you get suspended. I think you're not bowl eligible for a couple years as well.
Yeah, probation.
Or maybe, yeah, I think you're not bowl eligible. Your recruitment may be locked up. I know one fact that I am soul-heartedly knowing is that you are suspended from bowl play. So I don't know if that will continue into this year or if they continue that to next year, depending on what happens. But very bad. Oh my God, Fred Warner just dove over the pile. Jeez.
Oh my God, there's what? You can't call flag on that. Yeah, I'm trying to find out.
Oh my God, he got there, dude. No way. Yeah, but no, I think they do. Like, they should get a suspension from bowl play and possibly like recruiting. I think that's one of the two things that happens. But very, very sloppy on their part In my opinion, maybe that's why they're blowing out all these people, Nathan. Maybe that's why they're only giving up 10 points a game is because they're stealing signs.
You might be.
Maybe Michigan is not that good as everybody thinks they are because they're stealing signs.
It literally says, yeah, there it is. 30 games over a 3-year span. 11 of them Michigan Big Ten teams.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, like this man spent his money to go cheat and got caught slacking.
This is so odd. Yeah, pretty much. The thing is that they don't know what to do because this has never happened before. Oh, my God.
It's happened in the NFL before, but it's never happened in college football.
Please throw the ball to Hutchinson, man. Give me a chance. You know, oh, my gosh. I had the Lions defense put up -6. Sorry. But, yeah, it seems like, let's see, determined advantage gain to be debated. There's no advantage. Reducing scholarship would be a punish, so they would take away some scholarships and stuff.
Oh God! Just imagine you're like a true freshman coming onto campus, and then you have to leave because they screwed up.
Yeah,
and got your scholarship.
It says that they don't think it would get to a postseason ban. I don't think it would get that bad.
I mean,
it definitely seems. Yeah, you're gonna get a massive fine. It says. You're going to get some big-time suspensions.
I'm surprised Jim Harbaugh's not going to get suspended again.
I mean, you might even see a fire, like an athletic director fire or something. Like someone that's not Jim, you know.
I know what you mean, but it's just like, how do you let this get past you? Like, how do you, like, first off, who like put all of this together to get this, like, this far, buying 30 tickets to 11 games? How do you get past this? How does the college football world let this slide under their nose so easily until now?
I mean, it is kind of crazy, right? Like this just out of nowhere. It's like sign stealing in football. Like this is unheard
of. Baseball, I understand. Like Houston Astros, they did that with the trash cans. That's understandable. But I mean, I agree with you. In football, I couldn't even know what sign they're calling.
That's the thing is like you had like that is so premeditated. Like you had to sit in the room, multiple people had to sit in a room and be like, all right, we got this plan. We're going to cheat and we're going to start stealing signs. Coach, that's got to be illegal. Only if you get caught. Only if you get caught. And it's so weird because like there had to be you don't just randomly start stealing. Like you don't
go buy 30 tickets to 11 games to just go and watch. Come on now. You're on a mission.
Yeah, literally this is a mission and it failed because he got caught. But I mean it's so weird. Like I feel like there should be some kind of big time, you know.
I think a postseason ban would be nice. I think that's very respectable. Not this year, just because they're playing good. But I mean, for the next couple of years,
we won't. See
maybe for 2 years. I mean, it happened to Ole Miss one time. Ole Miss had bowl bans.
Yep.
Alabama bowl bans too. I mean, I think there should be some big punishments to this team right now. Because of something like this. I mean, first off, as you said, they probably all sat down and watched film on not even the coaches. I mean, not even like the players per se, just the coaches on the sidelines watching what signs make what plays happen. I mean, it's just like, first off, get better at coaching.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have to steal signs. Get better at coaching. Then maybe you won't have to go out there and hire somebody to go steal signs for you. And then just play the game fair, play it right. I mean, play to your. If you really want the win, you're going to coach a better game. You're going to outcoach the other team. Don't stoop to the level of stealing signs and cheating in a game that is loved by so many people, because then that brings a bad rep on your university, brings a bad rep on your team, on the players, on the coaching, brings a bad rep all around. So, I mean, Michigan, especially with all the stuff that's happened to Jim at the beginning of the season, have that 3-game suspension. That's putting more on Michigan right now. Is it's like, are they really that good, or have they been cheating the past 2 years?
They just cheat all the time.
They beat Ohio State twice. I mean, come on now.
Yeah, they couldn't beat them, and now all of a sudden, when you get these controversies, I mean, it is weird because you never want to see like a university just like plagued with controversies. Like I know there was that time when LSU was like caught up in a couple of them. It was just like, man, this is like, ew, I don't want to be a part of this. Like, this is a tough thing to defend as a fan. So I I don't know what it is. I don't want to act like we know exactly what it is. But if all these things are true that are coming out, we got to see some kind of like foot being put down, and some.
Oh, for sure.
You gotta hand out some punishment, and you can't just lean on them just because of if that or this. So we'll see what happens. I'm very intrigued at what the results will be. So we'll keep an eye on it, and we will let you know immediately. The rumor is, that's what they said. One of the insider reporters said that don't expect anything before the end of the season. Like these investigations, NCAA takes so long on these investigations.
Oh yeah, but they got to start from the bottom up on how this all started as well.
This is probably going to be a 1 to 2 year type of thing. So strap in. This isn't going to be an overnight thing. This probably won't even happen with off season.
Punishment to come sooner either.
Exactly.
They suspended the assistant that personnel was doing all the cheating. But also I feel like he's definitely gone. He is so fired. It's not even funny.
You get caught. Bro.
He's not gonna have a job. He is not gonna have a job at all. But speaking of the Big Ten, we actually had a really good Big Ten matchup. Well, yes, I wouldn't say good. I'd say kind of mid. We had Ohio State versus Penn State this weekend in Columbus, Ohio. Very big, highly anticipated game. Penn State coming in with one of the best defenses and a very explosive offense. Ohio State coming in with a very good defense and a very good offense. But this game was very, very weird. I'm going to start us off. Yeah. Offense didn't show up. Offense did not show up for the Nittany Lions at all. Drew Allard played one of the worst games. He went 18 of 42, 191 yards, 1 passing touchdown in trash time. The passing touchdown was in trash time. It wasn't even worth it. It was just to cut the lead down. The final score was 20-12. But also, you have to look at Ohio State. You could take a lot away from Penn State right here. They did not come ready at all, in my opinion. John Franklin is not. He is 2-15 against top 20 or top 10, top 5 AP opponents. It's just he does not have the resume right now. One of those wins is against Ohio State, but they blocked the field goal. We all remember that beautiful moment. Beautiful. But it's just they did not – it looks like they did not come in. Their offense, it seemed to me – oh, my God, go Christian, touchdown. Let's go. It looked to me that their offense was being very conservative with play calling. Everybody is harped on Penn State taking shots downfield. They did not, dude. They did not take any shots over the middle barely. They took short slant routes, out routes. Drew Allard was not putting the ball on them at all. He was bad. Yep. He came out in the press conference saying I wouldn't say he said he was trash, but he didn't. He was very disappointed and stuff to where the point he was holding back tears. He did not play good. Ohio State didn't really look the best either, in my opinion. Putting up 20 points is very good, especially how they did it. But the defense definitely showed up, shut down that Nittany Lion offense. It just depends on what Ohio State can do on the offensive side of the ball. If you get Marvin Harrison Jr. going, it's going to be a long day for defenses. And that's what they did. They got him going for sure. He had a career high 11 receptions for over 100 yards and a touchdown. Just carved up the secondary, man. The defense played good at some point, but other than that, Penn State did not show up to play, and I am a huge Penn State supporter. And as Nolan tells me every year, it is just going to be disappointment, and it was disappointment again. Because, once again, Ohio State was the favorite, but they were downplayed as the underdog, and then they come in and defense just dominated from the trenches, dude. Defense just dominated. They couldn't get a run. Passing game was off. But do I think that Ohio State is up there in the Big Ten? No, I do not. I still think Michigan is. Michigan is still the top dog in the Big Ten right now, just because Ohio State has lost to them twice, and Michigan has been blowing out opponents. But honestly, I think we found out a reason how they're blowing out opponents. So, there's controversy right there, but in my opinion, Ohio State is right behind Michigan in the Big Ten. And as we said before previously, that the big game to determine Ohio State's season is in Ann Arbor. It relies in Ann Arbor this year. It is, they have to go to Michigan and win, and that's going to be hard, especially after these 2 years of losing. Yep. But my thoughts on this game is, Penn State was mid. Penn State did not play good. Ohio State very dominant on defense. Little hit or miss on offense, just depending on how they play throughout the games that they're about to go into. But Ohio State comes out with the win. Very good game. Very good win for them. Very good fuel to keep going into the season as well. Takes down another undefeated divisional opponent. Now we wait until Ann Arbor, in my opinion, to see what they're really made of.
Yeah, hey, well said. It's this one was. I said it was going to be a defensive battle. I really thought that was going to happen, and it kind of played out like I thought. I didn't think the offenses would look like. I didn't think Penn State's offense would look this bad. And,
dude, it was atrocious.
And it was kind of it was halfway my fault, not watching enough. I thought I watched a good bit of highlights and games, not just highlights of this Penn State team. I want to give my respects to Ohio State's defense. It's a great defense. Like, it's a top 10 defense in the country, possibly a top 5 defense. My biggest takeaway was the talent on offense. Ohio State had guys. Penn State has no guys. Just game changers. You see what Marvin Harrison Jr. does for Ohio State. I mean, he dominated. He had 11 catches, 162 and a tud. Cade Stover had a couple of massive catches late in that game. Julian Fleming only got 1 catch, and he's a monster.
He's on the rise for sure on that offense.
Yeah, Xavier Johnson, he's another great player. He only had 1 catch. So, I mean, they have guys everywhere.
Ibuka didn't play. Did Ibuka play or no?
I think he was injured.
Yeah, he's been out for a couple of weeks. I don't know what, maybe a lower body injury. But as I agree with you, this offense has playmakers everywhere.
And that was the biggest thing, man.
Kyle McCord played a good game as well. He didn't look the worst, but he didn't look the best either. It was just there was no elite quarterback play. It was just like your quarterback had to get the job done.
Yeah.
And it was just depending on who wanted it more. And Ohio State wanted it a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, Penn State's defense is legit, man. They played their butts off. Yeah. I loved what I saw from this defense for the Nittany Lions. It's as good as advertised, I would say. I just, and I don't want to put everything on Drew. Like I said, man, the running game, there was no running game, it felt like all day. And then they just didn't have a guy in that receiving core that could make a couple of plays, like get open at all times. Like Marvin Harrison Jr. wasn't always open, but he just made the catches when he was like double covered, blanketed. He still would make the catch. Penn State didn't have a guy that could just go out there and make a play. Yes, Drew Aller was off all day. He never felt like it was even close to a rhythm. Had open guys and missed them, but there was no like wide open receivers for Penn State, and that's
this defense was blanketing the field.
And that's a credit to Ohio State's defense. Those corners are playing good ball. They've got a great defensive line, a couple really good players on that defensive line. The linebackers are flying around. I love what I'm seeing from Ohio State's defense, but that's what it came down to for me. Like the skill set on each offense was so prevalent, and halfway is contradicting myself when as you'll hear later in the pod, like we said, we pre-recorded the part that's going to be after this recap. But like I said, there's an eye test with this team that still tells me they're not fully there, even though they look so much more talented than Penn State. Penn State's talent is not a top 10 talent on offense, it felt like. Ohio State's talent is a top 5 talent on offense, but I'm not seeing them put it together. Yes, Penn State's defense is legit, and they're going to make a lot of teams look bad on offense. But, like, there's something that's just not fully there. The run game was not clicking for Ohio State. I don't think McCord's going to be able to win the biggest of games without a run game, so that's a little questionable, even though Penn State's defensive line and linebackers, that front seven is just massive.
It's lethal, dude.
They're great.
I mean, they get to the ball. They get to the ball super fast. They're explosive defense.
Yeah.
Like, they know where the ball is going to go, and I agree with you on that. I don't think McCord is going to be able to, like, if you don't have Henderson back in that backfield,
that's big.
Then it's just kind of like, I mean, are you going to be really able to open up up that wide? Are you going to be able to get Marvin Harrison open? Are you going to be able to get Fleming open? You know, having such a dominant run game is going to be able to help this pass game a lot more, especially with the wide receiver ability you have outside. I mean, you have a generational wide receiver outside. You have a Hall of Famer's son, possibly future Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison Jr. coming on the outside. I mean, you have to be able to get those guys open. And there were some plays like, I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. was wide open on one play, that touchdown play he had. Oh my gosh, that dude was, that made me so mad because he was just wide open. I mean, you can't get mad. You can't get mad at that just because of coaching. Coaching had played a big part of it. And I think Ryan Day and Ohio State came into that second half and outcoached Penn State because at halftime it was 10-6. Honestly, you thought there was going to be a game. You thought Penn State was going to be able to catch lightning in a bottle and take at least score during the second half and at least make it a manageable game. But they got that touchdown in trash time was just like, that was just for pride. That was just for like to at least make it not look like a 20-6 blowout.
Yeah, I mean, last thing I'll really say, I mean, it's got to come to a point where Penn State, yes, they can still beat Michigan and technically still be in this hunt with some luck, but there's got to come a point where you got to look in the mirror and say James Franklin's just not that guy. He's just not that coach because
2-15 against top AP opponents.
He cannot win the big games, man. He just cannot win the big games. Horrible record against top 10 teams, like you said in the AP teams. It's ridiculous what this team has done over the years. Always has hype and always fails to the hype. And it comes down to James Franklin. I just don't know if he can win the big games as a head coach.
I mean, I think he should be considered to be in the hot seat. I don't think you should put him in the hot seat right now. I think there should be a total consideration of him being there. Because, I mean, once again, that 2016 Penn State team who went 10-2, and you had Trace McSorley, Saquon Barkley, Mike Gesicki. I think you had Chris Godwin on that team as well. I mean, you had studs, and you went to a Big Ten championship and won, but you still didn't make the playoffs, which isn't bad. And you lost in the Rose Bowl, which was, I mean, that was a big loss, but what a historic game that was. But I mean, John Franklin has to figure out coaching his players a lot better than, you know, taking these conservative plays and trying to make something big out of them. Because this is not the same team that you've had before. This is not a Saquon Barkley-led team. No. This is not Trace McSorley.
TJ Hawkinson down. I'm done. I'm dead. Team's dead. I'm over with.
Is he down?
Yeah, foot. I'm so done for.
Oh, you're ahead of me. Hold up. Oh, God. I'm scared.
Oh, this is so
but,
bad.
I mean, I think we both hit on that Ohio State-Penn State game. I think we both wrapped it up around perfectly.
One last thing. James Franklin, guess the place he coached before Penn State.
Vandy.
Oh yeah, you did. You knew it. Okay.
Oh yeah, I knew that, and he made Vanderbilt kind of look good.
Yep, they did. There's no wonder he can't win the big game.
I mean, how do you go from Vanderbilt? Oh, dude, that's scary. That kind of
if he's done for my team is dead on fantasy. So
man, that sucks. But yeah, I mean, John Franklin's got to figure out himself. I think he's got to look in the mirror and figure out what he's got to do.
Yeah, man. I think that'll do it for our Big Ten talk. Let's go to the other power conference. Amazing conference in college football. Let's go to the SEC, where your Alabama Crimson Tide make a massive comeback and settle down on the naysayers on this squad, and they knock off the Volunteers to stay alive.
Say it with me, Nate. Say it with me. Roll, Tide, roll. Okay, we're not going to get that out of you, but we'll get it out of you one day. It's not going to happen. Very good game. Had to battle some adversity. Very big adversity in this game, going down 20-7 at halftime. I was scared. I was at work watching this. I hate Gabe can't be on here because Gabe is also a Tennessee fan.
Yes, he gave his points later on.
It was very scary at first. It was very scary because Tennessee looked to dominate. Tennessee looked like they were going to dominate this entire game. That first quarter was insane. That touchdown pass to Squirrel Wright, that was right here in the breadbasket. That was beautiful.
Squirrel.
Such a weird name to give your kids.
It's technically his nickname, but it's the name that always pops up. It's technically a nickname. So.
Oh God, I was about to say, please tell me it's not his actual name.
I looked it up. I was like, that's a That's a name to give your kid. Wow.
Okay. Tennessee looked very good, and Bama just did not. Bama kind of looked like the team that we are used to seeing at the beginning of the season, or kind of in the beginning of games, slow starting, getting into a groove. Offensive line played decent this game, I would say. The true freshman tackle is just getting dominated every game. The true freshman what was that? What did you just do?
Nothing.
Okay. The true freshman tackle was getting dominated. But Jalen Milroe once again is surprising everybody with his play. Jalen Milroe is playing one of the best, starting to really show me that he is one of the best quarterbacks right now in the league. Not saying top 10, top 5, but obviously he is starting to grow into his own character around this Alabama offense. He played good. I mean, that interception was bad, but I mean, you throw it in, it was a good defensive play, player right there at the right time. Going down 13 at half was very big because Alabama hasn't big down that big since the national championship, but they played Georgia. Tua came in at the second half. It's very big, but coming into the second half, Alabama gets the ball, and it's just the second play. I think it's the second or third play. We hit Isaiah Bond for 49 yards, and that changed the game. Changed the game entirely. Yep. We as you text me.
Oh, geez. Addison down now. God bless.
Good Lord. Injury bug. Me and Nate text during the games, and we say that, we get our annual Jalen Milroe bomb for sure. And this was one of them. Yep. Isaiah Bond is really starting to come into play. Jermaine Burton is dog.
That's a Sunday player.
Dog. He is so good. There's one play that he made. There's one catch. It's like catching traffic, grabs it, pulls it in, goes for an extra 5 to 10 yards. I mean, very good play. We caught lightning in a bottle, and then defense. The defense played outstanding. Defense played outstanding to let up no score in the second half. I respect the Tennessee. Last year they had their game. Last year they definitely had their year against us. But it's hard to beat the same team twice. It's hard to go into Nick Saban's world and try and beat him again. Nick Saban hasn't lost back-to-back games since I think LSU.
It was Ole Miss.
Ole Miss was Ole Miss, and then he lost back-to-back games against Florida at LSU. Mm-hmm. But Alabama gets one of the revenge games under their belt. Tennessee just did not look. Tennessee was very conservative in the second half. Very, very conservative. Defense came out. We get that scoop and score that ultimately led sealing the game for us, making it 34-20. And the 2 fourth downs that Tennessee went for, I did not like. Did not like them going on fourth down, because if you don't go on and you punt the ball, you still have a chance to make it a game, because it was only 20 to 27 when they went for it on that second fourth down. They didn't get it, but respect to the defense for coming in and playing lights out in that second half. Tennessee is still a very good team. I still think that you need to put the ball in Joe Milton a lot more. Me and Gabe were talking about it. Take more shots downfield. Trust your quarterback, because Joe Milton at the end of the game was just running QB draws. And you're not going to be able to do that on Sundays. The only person that can do that on Sunday is Lamar Jackson. But look how shifty he is compared to Joe Milton, who's going to drop a shoulder on you. And Fred Warner's not going to let you drop a shoulder on him and run him over. But very good game for Alabama. Very good win. 5-0 in SEC play now. Very good win streak we got going on. We got that revenge game under that. So now we go into a bye week. And then after the bye week, we play another revenge game, possibly could be the best game of the year. I will stand by that fact. I said that about a lot of games this year, but I think this game is going to be game of the year. You have an unstoppable offense versus a very good defense, which would be LSU versus Bama. So Alabama is on a roll right now. I hope we continue that, and hopefully the offense continues to get better and better. Offense didn't really look bad in the second half. Offense looked really, really good. So respect to Tennessee, respect to Alabama for giving us a classic, but on to the next game, which is our, second revenge game, and we're going to win.
Oh, is that so? Okay? Yeah. I like the confidence.
I don't know. It's going to be such a good game.
Yeah, that's going to be an amazing game. How'd
you feel about this game?
Oh, yeah. First of all, TJ Hockenson back in the game. Season's still alive.
That's good.
But, yeah, man. In this game, never bank on Alabama just having a game where they're good. You know, all for 60 minutes. It's just like I think it's almost a consensus at this point that we're not going to see 60 minutes of football from this team. Like last week against Arkansas, you give up the weird second half, and then this week
second half is weird.
You do the opposite, play bad in the first half. It's like those first two quarters were like the Arkansas last two quarters, and then the second half. The second half against this Tennessee was like the first half against Arkansas. So it's
very weirdly. It's a weird consistency of what we have going on right now. Because I agree with you on that. It's just kind of shades of Arkansas last week, but just vice versa.
Yep.
And that's good to have. I'm glad that we can wake it up, but I don't want to be. I know Alabama doesn't want to be a second half team. They want to be a 60-minute. We want to be able to punch you in the mouth every play, and it takes time. It takes time, and this is what this season's all about. It's all about getting the right players in the right places and putting all the pieces together at once.
Yeah.
So, Tennessee, I just don't understand how Tennessee just went so dormant in the second half.
Yeah,
not Pruitt, almost. Tennessee's coach just did not, I don't feel like he trusted the offense enough, but defense right there, defense play once again. And I love staying on it because defense wins championships, and we're getting back to being a dominant defense now.
Yes.
And that's what showed us for sure.
Yeah. That was the big thing is, the first half I was like, where's Alabama's defense? At least like that usually shows up. Tennessee kind of walks down the field, and it was a little shaky at first. And then my favorite thing about this game was Alabama's commitment to the run. Did not give up on it. And I've been harping that all year. I feel like if this team has a chance to, and it's all about identity. It's not about being the best running team in the country. It's not about, having these your running back run for 100 yards and Milroe run for 50. It's not about that. Like, Milroe only had 3 rushing yards. I'm asking, run the ball more than pass the ball. Wait for the bombs off the play action. And this is what they did, man, in that second half. They come out swinging. Once they got that touchdown, the big play to Bond, I was like, all right, this one might be
oh, dude, that changed my whole perspective, because I'm not going to lie. At halftime, I was like, well, it was fun.
It was
a fun season. Yep. But then Milroe came out that second half and showed me that he is stepping up week by week as becoming not an elite passer, but I would say average. I would say maybe a little bit above average as a passer. He made throws last week that I haven't seen him make all season, and that would be intermediate to low throws. Like, those are the big throws that he had to make, and he made some of those throws good. Once again, the interception was bad. It was a great defensive play, but that's like that Bond touchdown really changed the perspective, changed the narrative for the game, because I'm pretty sure that scared Tennessee a little bit.
Yes,
that's scary because once again, you're doing so good at shutting down the run. You're doing so good at trying to shut down this run game that you just let Isaiah Bond pass you up. You go back and look at the game and look at the highlights, there's 3 white jerseys behind him. 3 white jerseys. Insane that he got behind those 3 guys and was able to score. And Jalen Milroe put it right on him too. So, it was a good game. It was a good game for both teams. Good game for Alabama for sure.
Yeah.
And the run game, Chase McClellan's best years are in the NFL. We have agreed. Me and you have talked about that.
He's good
with it.
He's good, running back, man.
Oh, he's so – dude, every time I see him run, I just feel like it looks like an NFL running back playing against college kids. It's kind of like when Derrick Henry was there. But
he got like a little bit of DeAndre Swift in him, man. I can't really put
dude, speaking of DeAndre Swift, cooked.
Yeah, he's so good, man. I don't know.
But
I'll go ahead. Now, this is such a – this is what makes Alabama one of the most confusing teams in the country. I don't know what to where to put them in the stratosphere of college football when it comes to levels. This team will play on the highest level for 2 quarters, and then they'll play on the lowest of levels for a top 25 team in 2 quarters. So it's like you got to get consistency. You can't You're not going to beat. You're not going. It's going to be really hard to beat an LSU. It's going to be.
It's going to be really hard to beat LSU and Georgia without consistency.
You're not beating Georgia playing 2 quarters. You might can pull it off against LSU if you got a massive lead, but you gotta play 4 quarters against these really, really good squads. In Tennessee, I was shocked with how bad they played in the second half, but that's a testament to, like you said, the Alabama defense shows up and shows out in the second half. And I was surprised that Tennessee just didn't even they ran the ball. They ran the ball a good bit. They ran by committee, and Joe Milton had a lot of runs, as a quarterback, which shocked me. Did not expect to see that as much as we did.
I don't, because he just does not take me as a rushing quarterback anymore.
I mean, he's got wheels, but that's not what he's been doing all season. He's
been tossing the rock.
Yeah, and I agree. I wouldn't mind seeing him pass the ball more. It was just a weird one. It was a weird one, but it was a classic Alabama game this year, man. It just.
Well, I like to say that Dallas Turner. Cool. I would like to say Dallas Turner and our other edge rusher on Alabama has these past 4 games have had 11.5 tackles for loss, have had 8 sacks, and have just dominated the line of scrimmage for us. The front 7, the defense is there. And with Dallas Turner being one of the main leaders and Deontay Lawson being there as well, Lawson has made a very big impact on this defense too. So being having guys like that on the defensive side of the ball really helps, especially when they're these past 4 games where they have just been getting back to the quarterback. And this is why I didn't see that a lot at the beginning of the season, but now they're starting to really bloom into what Alabama's defense is mostly about.
Yeah, man. I mean, this is not even remotely close regarding the game that we're talking about, but guess the top 3 scoring defenses in college football. They're
right now?
Yeah, all the scoring defense. They allow the least amount of points. They're team. They're all teams They're Power 5 conference.
Okay. Michigan.
Yes.
Okay. Penn State.
Yes.
And Alabama.
Nope. I'm surprised Alabama's on there.
Let's see. Oregon?
Nope.
Oh. So Penn State, Michigan. What conference?
Stay in the same conference.
Staying in the same conference.
Yep, that's the interesting part.
Oh God.
Yep.
Holy crap. Okay, let's think of the Big Ten then. Ohio State?
Yes.
Yep. Oh, wow. The 3 top dogs in that conference all have the best defenses. Oh, shocker.
Yeah, Michigan's only allowing 5.88 points per game.
That's disgusting. That's just absolutely just disgusting.
Penn State's averaging 9.71, and then Ohio State's
disgusting.
And Ohio State's allowing 10. And the closest behind them is
still
Air
not
Force.
bad.
Air Force quietly only allowing 13.43 points per game. So,
dude, Air Force is quietly a sneaky team right now. Not making a playoff, but very sneaky when it comes to a team in general that just surprises you in the season.
Winning games, man. Winning games. That's all you can ask for. But yeah, that'll do us on our Alabama talk. We'll see what they can do. It felt like a classic win. They're going to win some games like this. They might beat LSU in this the weirdest possible way. I wouldn't even be shocked. They just know how to keep on stacking dubs. Let's move on to a team that didn't get a dub after a loss. And CDM is extremely happy. The USC Trojans.
You want to know my first note on this game?
What?
USC's trash.
Oh, that's a new one.
Basically all I need to say. You let a farmer, a pig farmer beat you, dog. Oink, oink, man. And now guess what? Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley are both 0-3 against Utah. We will never see Caleb Williams play in a college football playoff game. We will never see him play we'll probably never see him play in a Pac-12 championship game ever. Yeah. Lincoln Riley has probably just has gotten owned. That's an incomplete pass. Has gotten owned by Utah these past 2 years. You're 0-3 against them. This offense does not look comfortable at all. This defense is still not good at all. USC is trash. USC is not good. And Don't like. I want everybody. I want people to come at me and talk to me about this. They're not good at all, and they play Oregon. No. Utah plays Oregon next week.
Yeah,
I think they play Oregon after that week. When they play Oregon, it is just going to be 10 times worse, in my opinion. This team has been so hyped these past few years, and it has done nothing but get to their minds, get to their heads, and the egos have gotten big. The egos have gotten really big. You think what Caleb Williams came out saying, like, why listen to the sheep? Why consider the opinion of sheep? Lions don't run. Man, what are you talking about, man? You just lost 2 back-to-back games.
You're so
like,
cool.
I mean, you're not a lion, dude. You're a cub. You're a cub right now, bro. You're not the king. Like, no, you're like Simba after Mufasa died. You're weak. I mean, come on now. Let's be realistic right now. Jesus. All this generational talk, as Gabe said, I think it's gotten to the heads of USC and their players. And I mean, I've talked about this team all season. I've told people that this team is not going to be good. And I stand by my facts. I stand by the facts of saying this team is not going to be good. Lincoln Riley is going to let this team down for more years to come, in my opinion, especially after Caleb leaves. It's just not going to be pretty. And he's only an offensive mind. He's not going to be a defensive mind. And Utah just wanted it more. Utah knew what was coming into this game. I wouldn't even, if I'm Utah, I'm not even seeing as a Pac-12 championship right now. I'm not going to look forward towards this game. This game right here is just me owning you again, me slapping that ass again, and just telling you, hey, remember who daddy is. Remember who I am, because you will never forget my name. And Cam Rising didn't even play. Cam Rising's out for the rest of the year. Yep. So getting on that right there, do I think Utah is a Pac-12 championship contender? It's iffy. It's very iffy because they still have to compete with Oregon and Washington, and they still pave their own path right now. Yep. And it's hard to say just because Cam, when coming out saying Cam Rising's done for the year, that's bad. It's very bad because you've lost your star quarterback for the year. He can get an emergency red shirt next year. So
dude's gonna be coming in 7th, 8th year.
Dude's gonna come back, beat USC again.
Hang on, let's see this. Guess
I think he's a senior or 4th-year senior.
All right, guess how old he'll be going in next season.
Oh, good God, like 28?
No, he's not that old.
Okay, 25?
Yeah, he'll be 25.
What's with all these? I'm so sick and tired of seeing 25-year-old quarterback. Go to the league. Go away. Like, this is kids. You're a grown man against kids.
He's been playing ball in college since 2018, bro.
Good God, man.
He'll be a 7th year.
Good Lord.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, but Utah being a contender for the Pac-12, they paved their own path going towards that championship game. They really need Oregon to lose another game. They need to beat Oregon this weekend.
Yes.
To solidify their chip, to solidify a place in the Pac-12 championship, possibly in the playoffs if they can go back-to-back with Pac-12 championships as well. I would love to see them win a 3rd championship for their conference, because at that point, Utah's elite. We have all seen it. Utah's good. That's all I can say about this game is SC's trash. SC is just not the team that everybody was promised, and more disappointment is to come.
I'm sad that we didn't get your 15-minute rant for USC.
No, time. I think as Gabe said, I'm not giving them any more of my time because they're just not worth it. This team's just not worth it.
Respect. I love that growth and maturity from CDM there. They're just not worth your time. But yeah,
they're not. Hey. I mean, it's just like the girl on your phone. Like, she's not worth your time, dog. It's fine.
It's not worth it, man. Just go to bed. Just go to bed.
Turn your phone off. Go to bed. It's fine.
Go to bed,
it's not worth it at all.
Not worth it. Now, I mean, Utah is interesting because I said at this beginning of this year, I mean, this defense is legit. They've been legit for the past couple of seasons. They've been the best defense in the conference for the past couple of seasons. You got some contenders in there now when it comes to defensive, skill set. There's some good defenses in the Pac-12 when it comes to, in Oregon State, Utah, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, if they want to play good defense. So, I mean, it's an interesting thing. What do I think about this team? They're so hard to read because you watch that game and you say, mean, they outplayed USC. I mean, that's the simple answer. I mean, they just outplayed them where it mattered. Quarterback outplayed Caleb Williams. Wild. Bryson Barnes pretty much outplayed. Caleb
Pig farmer. Oink oink.
Oink oink. Oink oink.
Oink oink.
And they ran. they ran the ball really well. I mean, this team is. I want to say they are a legit contender in the Pac-12.
It's super hard to say that though, bro.
It's hard.
Super hard to say that just because Oregon and Washington. Oregon's only got that one loss, which, as I previously said, they have to win this game this weekend.
Yes.
Because I think is it in Oregon or is it? Wait, hold up, I got it right down. It's at Utah, so they have the advantage. They definitely have the advantage.
Yes.
To win this game, they just have to. They have to play their game. They have to play their game of football.
Yeah, in that little ass stadium. Remember what Florida said? Didn't
Florida go on to lose that game too?
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't talk before the game.
They had players posting that. They posted it after.
Oh yeah, I saw that. And then the Utah player came back and said something about being a little ass team or something like that.
Little ass stadium. I love it. No, I mean, hey. This team it's fun to root for simply because the backup quarterback is in. Cam Rising's not playing. Who's just a dog. Like, no one's out here going to say Cam Rising is a Heisman candidate. But he just brings that element to your team, that dog mentality. Like, when you need a play, he's going to make it. And I don't know if Bryson Barnes is that guy, but we get to see that against Oregon. The biggest thing for me is that Utah needs help. Yeah, they can beat Oregon and Washington State. But if Oregon State wins out, they're going to the Pac-12 championship. So, because that's who they lost to.
Oregon State.
So it's in Oregon State. Still plays Washington in Oregon. So I mean,
they play Oregon at the end of the season too. So that's a big one. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, they do need some help. They just need one team to lose. They just need one team to lose. That's all they need. And Oregon State will lose a game. Sorry, Oregon State will lose another game.
I mean, that's
because I do not want to say DJ Uungalale in another conference championship, dude. Just
what are you talking about? He's killing it. No. Very interesting game for the Oregon State Beavers, though. Arizona this week, who's kind of cooking right now on offense.
Oh, dear Lord. Arizona. I wish you would have put that as one of the game picks. I'm taking Arizona.
This is Oregon State's schedule. Arizona, Colorado, Stanford, who got a big win, Washington and Oregon. So they got some tough games ahead of them.
Oh, dear Lord. That's a tough game. That's a tough game stretch right there. I mean, yes. Colorado, where's it at in Colorado? Is it Colorado or at Oregon State?
It is. Let me find out for you. It is at Colorado. At Colorado. So
Prime time, baby. Let's go.
You never know what can happen in these games. But, yeah, when it goes back to Utah, I love this defense. I like their players. I like their coach. This guy knows how to win football games. We believed that Utah was better than USC, and they proved it once again that, this USC team's just not who they think they are.
It's not it, bro. It's just not it at all.
A lot of ego, a lot of weird things going on over there. Lincoln Riley's got to really look himself in the mirror, and I think you got to clean house when it comes to defensive coaching. Honestly,
coaching in general.
You got to
coaching staff in general. It's just trying to clean house, man.
I think you got to really look at it all. Caleb Williams going to be out the building. Like, he can say everything he wants. Say he's going to come back. It'd be the stupidest decision of all time. And
it would be so idiotic.
It would be so stupid with how much money is on the table for him. And I think once Caleb's gone, you got to really look at your program and say, we don't have a transcendent talent, and this transcendent talent couldn't win us 2 big games. Like, we didn't have enough talent to win the big games. So you got to really look at yourself in the mirror and look at what you got. Utah, though, good. Everything in front. If they beat Oregon and Washington, get a little bit of help, this team might be right back in the Pac-12 championship. Do I believe it will happen? I don't think so. Well, we'll see. Hey,
it's very big, as you said. They do need help, but about this Utah defense has been good for past couple of years.
Yes.
This defense has been dominant.
Yes.
In the Pac-12. I mean, one of the best defenses in the Pac-12 so far. So as long as they keep doing what they're doing, they definitely have a chance. But I think that wraps up everything about Utah, USC. I think we both agree USC has got to do some soul searching. Got to do some soul searching big time to solidify who they want to be in the near future. But going on to another conference, the ACC. I didn't really get to watch this game. I did watch a couple of the highlights. We have the Florida State Seminoles taking on the Duke Blue Devils. Duke Blue Devils were without Riley Leonard, so that was a big, and they also they had to play with their third string at the end of the day because their second string got hurt. So that kind of that beat them up a little bit. But Florida State, man, a little scary at first.
We kind of felt that, though. We kind of thought that could happen.
I mean, it's been happening these past couple of weeks. I mean, once again, it all started at Boston College and then, going into overtime with Clemson. But Florida State, dude, is just so explosive, just so dominant when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. And everything is all cylinders are starting to click. It's all starting to piece themselves together. The defense is starting to wake up. The run game has gotten tremendously better for them. At the beginning of the season, they were doing like 3.5, 4 yards a carry. And now they're at 4.5, 5 yards a carry now in the run game, which is very good for them. Opens up that pass game for Jordan Travis to get Keon Coleman and other wide receivers open as well. So, I mean, if Florida State keeps doing what they're doing, obviously they are going to be in the ACC championship and in the playoffs, but they just have to keep the gas. They have to keep their foot on the gas. Oh my gosh, that was almost a catch.
I know, right?
Oh my. I like this game. I mean, Duke is no slouch. Duke was no slouch at all. Duke will give you a tough time. Duke will give you a run for your money. They did it against Clemson, did it against Notre Dame. Have done it against a couple other teams as well. But Florida State handled their business in the fourth quarter with that big 21-point fourth quarter to solidify their win against the Duke Blue Devils. Not really much I can say on this game besides, very good win. Keep doing what they're doing, and I promise you Florida State is going to be a force to be reckoned with come championship weekend and playoff predictions as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, first thing I say, the Duke Blue Devils are a legit football team with a legit defense. Yeah. Like, I had that stat still pulled up. Duke is number 5 in the country at scoring defense. So it just shows.
Ooh.
I mean, this team, even, after what happened this weekend, they're still a top 5 defense when it comes to scoring. So, I mean, Duke is legit. I love their coach. Riley Leonard is a dog. I hate to see him go down like that. He is day-to-day, so looks like he could be back for this coming up week. But this is a testament to Florida State. They're going to have these tough games, man, and no one thought that Duke was a slouch. If you did, I mean, what were you thinking? Duke is good at defense with a really athletic quarterback, and you got players on that offense. So, for me, you gotta take this win as an absolute win. You can't you can't look at these games and it was close at this point. Like, what's going on? And they're not going to beat the Big Ten. It's like, this is a conference game. This is a conference game. This team knows you. This is like even the perfect example when LSU was horrible that year, just terrible, and they give Alabama a run for their money. Coach O's last year. It's a rivalry game. It's a game that you play for. It's bigger than just It's bigger.
Was that COVID year? Coach O's last year?
Yes. Right?
Bro, what do you mean you gave us a run for our money? We dominated that game.
Not that one. The game that was like 10-7. 10-7 Alabama beat LSU. 20
That was 2021. 2018. That had to be it. It had to be 2018, right?
No, I thought it was
2019. 2019 we won man, what
20 to 14, 2021.
2021. Okay, yeah, that was a good game.
Yeah, y'all beat the snot out of us 2020.
Yeah, that was the chip year. That was the best team.
Yeah.
And then
that's right. 2021, y'all 8-1 going to that game. Or y'all got out of that game 8-1. We were 4-5. Yeah. That game we were terrible all season and we gave y'all hell, and it was because we couldn't score a touchdown. But it's like that game right there is like a perfect example why a win's a win, man, in these kinds of conference matchups, especially this one. Like, Duke's good. So, to get to the point, is FSU still a legit contender? You'll find out later that I still believe they are very legit.
There are some points on this team where they look vulnerable. There are some points on this team where they look vulnerable, especially on the defensive side of the ball.
Failed tush push.
Failed tush push. They didn't get it.
They didn't get it.
Was that fourth down?
Third down.
Oh my God, dude, scared me.
God, that looks like it. Oh my God, he got bent backwards. That looks terrible. This is why Philly, like, you can't get rid of it. Philly's just the only team that's perfect at it. So
Yeah, exactly. But Florida State does look vulnerable at some points throughout the season, but they are, as I said, slowly but surely putting all the pieces together to be one of the most dominant teams in college football. That's all I can say about that. A game that caught my eye. The game that caught my eye.
Okay.
I'm going to start this segment off real fast. Virginia going into North Carolina and beating the Tar Heels. Oh my gosh. How are you going to lose to 1-5? 1-5 Virginia. Like, I mean, you were a top 10 team, bro. Virginia's cheeks. Virginia's straight bums. And they came in there and I wouldn't say dominated, but they gave you a hell of a run to come out with it on top. And North Carolina, this happens to North Carolina almost every year, dude. It's just disappointment. It's just like you lose to these crappy teams when you don't even need to lose to these crappy teams at all. Like, lose to these crappy teams at all. And for you, it kind of shows me that they are not ready to compete with Florida State or any of these other big dogs. Like, I don't even think they're ready to compete with Alabama. And I mean, there's been skepticism around Alabama being where they are right now. But I mean, North Carolina, it doesn't even look like they're ready to compete because, I mean, they've had close games all year. They've had close games against App State. This game right here proves another one. I mean, I just don't think that they are a legit contender. I think they weren't legit contenders at all this year. That's one game that caught my eye. Respect to Virginia. Hey, respect to Virginia. Yes. Give you a round of applause right there going into a top 10 opponent's house. And, oh my God, that's a pick. That's game.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, man. Dude, I think that is that. Ooh.
Throw it to TJ Hawkinson for a touchdown.
Oh my gosh. It's 5:30 left.
If they throw a touchdown to TJ, I might actually win this game, bro.
Oh my gosh. I hope you get it. But, you know, North Carolina right now is just not where they need to be. I think, I mean, they still have a chance. They still have a chance to go for an ACC championship and win and make a push, but they need a lot to happen. Need a lot to happen in the top 5, top 4 teams to lose to get to where they need to be and to beat Florida State. But that's the game that caught my eye. I don't think a lot of people talked about that a lot on Saturday or Sunday, that North Carolina lost to a 1-5 Virginia team. So respect to Virginia getting the job done. North Carolina got to wake it up. Mac Brown, dude, it's time to, you know, this is either going to be the year or it's going to be the year that you retire again. So got to figure that out. But that's the game that caught my eye.
Hey, man, I like it. That's the obvious one for sure because what the hell? Come on. Like, every year.
Like, come on now.
Every year, man.
Every year it happens, and I feel bad for. I mean, at least I can't even say that. North Carolina fans can't even look towards basketball. They suck at basketball now. I mean, they had football, but now they suck at basketball. So what do you really have to look forward to at North Carolina? What do you really have forward? Like, nothing. Baseball season, you suck at baseball.
Where are they ranked in basketball? I thought they were ranked pretty high in basketball.
They're ranked pretty high, but I mean, at the end of the season, Nate, are they going to be ranked high?
Oh, you might be right, actually. Hang on.
I mean, North Carolina has nothing to look forward to as fan base. It's kind of sad because when was the last time North Carolina went and played for a natty?
Yeah, I was wrong, bro.
A couple years ago, actually. Never mind.
Yeah, this team's ranked 19 in basketball, so very similar in basketball and football. Yeah, for me, man, there was some really interesting close games that caught my eye. So I'm going to go through a couple of them. First of all, the game that I am picking is the Oklahoma UCF game. What a narrative.
Oh, yeah, dude.
What a great game it was. John Rice Plumbing.
What a battle.
Dude, he's a great player.
Hey, 601 made, baby. 601
made, baby. Come on. He was a baller. Love to see him, kind of do his thing after the injury he suffered this year. And it had a lot of narratives in that game. Dylan Gabriel wants to beat his former team. UCF wants to beat the guy that transferred away from their school. I get it. I get both sides. So it was awesome to see it be an amazing game. I was a fan of that. Another one, Ole Miss Auburn. We thought it'd be a good one, and it was, man. I mean,
I thought Ole Miss was going to blow them out.
Hey, I thought it'd be a decent game, and Auburn showed up. They showed up and tried their hardest. I like to see that. Hugh Freeze. That was a one he wanted, man. He wanted that win so damn bad.
Oh yeah, I mean, being the alumni coach from that program, putting them where they ultimately were at. I mean, beating Alabama twice. I mean, once again, I respect him as a coach. I don't like the team that he's with, though. There's a lot of things I could say about Auburn, but I'm not not on the podcast. But I mean, it was a good game for sure. I thought Ole Miss would have won. I thought Ole Miss may have walked away with it, honestly. But Auburn, as you said, Auburn showed up for sure.
Fred Warner down. That sucks.
Oh, that's terrifying. Here, hold up. I got to charge my pause real fast. I got to charge my computer. You don't have to pause it yet.
We're pausing. And we're back. CDM has changed his setting because he's got his charger now. Let's go. Hey, we're good. But no, like I was saying with my teams or my games, I had the Ole Miss Auburn one. And, fun little game. Another interesting game. Texas-Houston was a good game even before Quinn goes out. Just kind of wanted to highlight Houston with a lot of fight. And then, obviously, the best game.
Houston kind of gave them a run for their money, man. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, man, they definitely did. And I like to see that fight. But really the biggest game of the weekend, I mean, let's calm down here. There was obviously one big game that caught everyone's eye that we haven't talked about. I mean, it was the biggest game. Tuesday Night Football. The Southern Miss Golden Eagles kick.
No, don't even. Get that garbage out of here. That team is not even worthy about being. No, okay. Here comes a rant. Here it comes. Southern Miss is not worthy of being on television. Southern Miss is not worthy of being a football program. The only thing that school is good for is barely getting an edge. No, I'm not going to say. Barely getting. I can't even say it. No, I can't. No, you can't. They have a good education. No, the only thing that school is good for is baseball. They are a baseball school. Let's get that down pat right now. I don't care. Southern Miss fans, you can come at me. You can come at my Twitter. My Instagram is cdm._08. Come at me if you want to. Southern Miss is garbage. Southern Miss is awful. Will Hall should be fired. He literally came out and said, hey, I'm going to step down from calling the plays. Man, what do you think you stepping down is going to do? Y'all are 1-5, and you think you stepping down is going to help? No, what's going to help is you get that Chuck E. Cheese application and go fill it out because you're done. You are done. That team's awful.
I wonder if Tulane would rehire him.
Tulane would be smoking. Tulane would be on crack if they decided to hire him back. Look where they're at right now compared to Southern Miss. Southern Miss is garbage.
Yeah, it seems like they got so much better without him there. But no, I mean, hey, you said it. I love the performance. ESPN2, you get beat 55-3.
You shouldn't even be on TV. Like, you're not worthy of being on television, bro. You're an embarrassment to college football.
Man, I'm a Southern Miss grad, and I love, rooting for my Golden Eagles, but that was the most pitiful.
Don't lie.
That was the most pitiful performance I've ever witnessed,
Dude,
bro.
That was sad. Like, honest to God, like, do you just pick people out of the stands and give them scholarships?
Bro, I was watching it. Like, this is rock bottom, bro.
We had it on at work, bro, and I had Southern Miss fans at the bar, and I was just like, hey guys, y'all see that team right there? It's the definition of trash.
Bro,
it's the definition of terrible, terrible, terrible football program.
Bruh.
Once again, only thing Southern Miss is good for is baseball. It's about the only thing they're good for.
Yes. Southern Miss has allowed 66 points, 21 points, 44 points, 50 points, 17 points, and 50.
I thought you were going to say 60. I thought you were going to say 66 points this season. I was about to be like, good God, is this even a D1 school? Like, is this school even worthy of having a D1 written by their name? No.
Question, honestly. I mean, how many points I wonder how many points it doesn't say.
I've legit had Southern Miss football players agree with me that their team is just complete trash. Like, their team is terrible.
Well, at least, hey, recognition. That's a big part of everything, recognizing how bad you are. All right, let's see. They are
dude, I think it's a little too late. I think everybody else recognized that.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. I'm trying to find offense. They don't have points. They don't have it on here. Well, they don't have that on here. I was going to see how many points they allow this season. It's a lot.
Too damn many.
It's a lot. So, just want to highlight my Golden Eagles hitting rock bottom.
I wouldn't even claim that team, Nathan.
To the top. Let's go. Ride or die.
Right now.
Ride or die. All right, let's get off of this. It gets slandered again by some Southern Miss fans. Oh, my gosh.
I'm going to have to go on Twitter again and defend me and you.
Yeah, once again, hey, it's all right. We've done this before. But all right, hey, that's it for our recap. We're going to send this one over to our boy Gabe. We got a little segment here that we recorded pre-pod. that's going to be doing our playoff in Heisman Watch as well as our playoff prediction. We'll be right back with some game picks after that segment is done. We got a special guest once again for a little segment this time, not the whole pod, just a little segment here to give his insight on the playoff and Heisman Watch himself, as well as a playoff prediction. Let's introduce him. He is the GOAT of all GOATs. Gabe, how we doing, brother?
We're doing great, man. How we doing, Nate Dogg?
Hey, we're doing good, man. We're doing good.
How we doing tonight, sir?
CDM, how we doing, sir?
We're doing good, sir. We're ready to talk some ball with you.
Yes,
been trying to get you on this podcast for a while, and finally it's happening.
So long. I've been waiting for so long to come on and talk to you guys a little bit about some football and a little bit about, who's really going to do it and go the distance as far as the best players in the college football realm.
I love it.
Let's go at it.
I love this energy you're bringing, Gabe.
I'm feeling
confidence.
a good pod tonight, boys. Feeling a good pod.
He's got some confidence, man. He's got some confidence.
Gabe knows his stuff, dude. Gabe knows his stuff.
Listen, I've watched a lot of winning football, and I've watched a lot of losing football for a long time. And I've got some notes. And I think some people need to pay attention because some people are going to squander their chances, just like USC did.
Yes, sir.
All right,
yes, sir.
So we got another USC hater out here. I like this.
It's nothing to do with USC, Lane Kiffin, Tennessee. Nothing to do with that at all. Nothing to do with constantly talking about generational talents coming out of a school playing against high schoolers. Man, I just, now what was Matt Leinart's NFL? What are his stats in the NFL? I can't remember. How well did he do after?
I think he was a backup after like week 3.
That's what I thought. Okay, just making sure.
Hey, bring in the heat.
Notes on that.
I'm so glad Gabe was not here for this USC rant for CDM because that might have been a 30-minute rant instead of an 11-minute rant.
No, I would have cut it shorter. Listen, I wouldn't give them any more of my energy. Carson,
you're right. CDM. You're right. I think I finally learned
you could have planted a tree with all that hate, I don't know.
Yeah, I like that. That is true. He's full of it, man. And he also, he hates USC. A lot of people hate USC.
It's easy to hate them. You don't want to hate them, but you do. It's just what happens.
Yeah, and they're definitely not going to be in this top 6 that we're about to get into. We might not. No, we're not. We might not.
Maybe not top 25.
Yeah,
really,
I was about to say
top 100.
I guess you got to give them that. Definitely not. I don't know about top 25. We'll have to see. They put them at 24. I don't know if I
put
agree
them at 24, dude. They should be out of there. 40-ounce bounce out the window.
They're not good. And hey, that's no disrespect to Utah. We're going to give them –
No, Utah is a great – we're going to get into that. Sorry. Nate, lead the way.
Let's get into this, guys. Top 6 teams, after another massive week of college football. Hey, we're getting right through this thing, and it feels like it's just almost over. We're getting to some of the biggest rivalry games of the season. LSU Alabama's next week.
I know that's so scary.
Got to buy, but then we get into that. So we got some massive games that could shift everything real soon. Well, let's get into this, guys. Top 6 teams with a massive one out there in Columbus, Ohio. That might elevate one of these teams in this top 6. CDM, how about you start us off here with your top 6 teams?
So I'm going to start from 6 to 1. Okay, from at number 6, going to take the Oklahoma Sooners at 6. Coming off me and Gabe were talking about it before the pod started. Coming off a very, very scary game against UCF. Coming off a bye week. After just beating Texas, looked a little rusty, came back down to earth after riding that high horse for so long. So I'm going to put them at 6. I still think they are going to go up and up and up in the season. But right now we're going to put them at 6. At 5, got Washington, got the Washington Huskies. Had a very struggle bus type of game, just kind of like Oklahoma did, except that one almost cost them a chance at looking into the college football playoffs. 15-7. Scary times. Offense didn't look good, but defense getting that pick 6 really helped them out. At 4, I'm going to put Ohio State. I did not like this game at all. I think this game was pretty mid, honestly. Neither team on the offensive side of the ball looked very explosive, especially Penn State. I'll talk about that when we get to that segment. Yeah. Ohio State at 4. At 3, got the Florida State Seminoles, baby. Seminoles at number 3 were climbed up in the rankings, coming off a very impressive win against Duke. 21-point fourth quarter, very impressive. Still an explosive team, one of the most explosive teams in the country. At number 2, taking the Dogs, taking Georgia Bulldogs at 2. They got another big test coming up this week in neutral territory against Florida, so we'll see what happens there. First game without Brock Bowers, so that's going to be a big test. And then at number 1, I'm taking the Michigan Wolverines. I think they have been most dominant team in college football right now, only letting up 10 points or less in these games that they're playing. And I know a lot of people are going to attack me because they haven't played anybody, but I mean, when they play somebody and they dominate, it's kind of hard not to put them up there. I mean, Georgia's been doing it all year, playing nobodies and kind of dominating, kind of having some iffy moments. But Michigan at number 1. So Michigan, Georgia, Florida State, Ohio State, Washington, and Oklahoma are my top 6 teams.
All right. Hey, Gabe, do you agree? You got some shifts in yours? What are we looking at?
I have a couple of different opinions, actually, Carson. I do respect you. I think you're onto something with a lot of this, but let's clear it up a little bit. Okay. After struggling against a one win team, I don't know how many losses they've compiled, but Arizona State, Washington barely snuck in a win. And I think that does drop them down. And I think it should drop them down to number 6. So I've got them at my 6th slot. Listen, they're undefeated. Washington, Michael Penix Jr., you're doing a great job. The offense is high powered, but you can't struggle against a one and whatever team and not pay something for it. Okay. Let's just be realistic about that.
Yeah.
Oklahoma. Now, UCF is a 3-3 team, and they did almost lose that bag. Let's not pretend. Hey. But Dylan Gabriel, he is a hoss, and he gave him the business, and he said, I'm not going to let my former school come back and get this win on us. Now, listen, it's a weird thought, though. Josh Heupel is built both houses, national champion at Oklahoma, as well as built the UCF program. It was basically, as CDM would say, a dog water team. Yes. But look, I think they gave him the business. I think Oklahoma had to remember who they were, come in and close out. But I think Oklahoma, you're my number 5 pick for the top 6. Next up, we have Michigan. Now listen.
Oh, okay.
Michigan at number 4. Let's talk. Let's talk
about it.
Michigan is putting up great numbers, but Michigan beat Michigan State the way Tennessee beat Virginia earlier in the year, 55-0, 55-10, whatever it is. Beating against smaller teams that can't compete physically isn't as dominant. I mean, Michigan State is probably one of the best teams they've played so far this year. I know you guys talked about it last week.
Fair.
Michigan, they play a lot of just smaller schools that don't quite have the programs built up that a lot of these SEC powerhouses and even Pac-12 powerhouses have been able to compete with over the year. So I will have Michigan at 4. I think they have something to prove to get to the top spot, and I think they have to play some real talent out there to show us that they're the top spot. That's Michigan number 4. Number 3, Florida State. Florida State. Listen, one of my best friends growing up, diehard Florida State fan. I did not ever want to hear the word Seminoles ever again. But let me tell you what, they are making me a fan. That is one of the most fun football programs to watch. Their quarterback, Jordan Travis, man, that guy drops dimes like a coin machine. Yes. Okay, I don't know how he makes it look so effortless, but that guy's the guy to watch. And don't get me wrong, I love Tennessee. I love LSU. It was hard to watch him dismantle LSU opening weekend in football. But that guy, he's got it. That Florida State program is solid this year. Number 3, Florida State. Number 2, Ohio State. And listen, I'm not one to give Ohio State all of the glory. I'm always saying, if they were in a bigger conference, if they played difficult teams all year long, then I would have a bit more respect for them. But when you struggle and you almost lose the bag against a couple of these small schools, was it Maryland, I think, a couple of weeks ago that they all
Maryland
were in trouble against? I think, when Ohio State and Michigan play, and whenever they play the bigger schools, it really indicates to me how powerful that team is. Some years I think they could compete and dominate all SEC teams. Some years I don't think. I think they'd be about mid. So that's where I am with Ohio State. But this year, Ohio State, they're staying dominant. Both sides of the ball, they're doing well. I say number 2, Ohio State. Top dog, Georgia. Listen, even without Brock Bowers, that guy, don't get me wrong, he's the queen on your chessboard. He's the guy you can go to. He's a big target. He's going to hit you harder than most of your cornerbacks can hit. So he is a threat to have. So to have not Brock Bowers for the next few weeks is going to be difficult. And Kirby Smart's going to have to play smart. He's going to have to use some really smart coaching. And he is. I mean, look, that guy, he is a he's a professional, and every time he goes to a team, you see success. And so whether you like him or whether you don't, Georgia #1. And I think even though we thought they were struggling against mid teams, we're seeing now Missouri not a mid team. You got a lot of teams out there that are a lot more dominant, and sometimes their win-loss in the SEC doesn't really indicate how good they are. So I've got Georgia #1 until I can be proven otherwise.
Heard that, brother.
Hey.
Good top six. Good top six. I like it.
I like that. He came in with some heat, man. I like the.
He really did, dude. Like I'm telling you, he came in with some fire.
I like that.
Well, listen, I've been hearing you guys spew it for a little while. I just wanted to teach you guys, what it's really about. You got to get down to the essence of football, that foundation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A savant. A savant at heart. Well, let me give you some teachings real quick, Gabe. Pretty close, man. Pretty close. Not far off. I really respect where you're coming from with a lot of these teams, and I hear where you're coming from with Michigan. That makes a lot of sense. Strength of schedule over a lot of things, man. And the thing about Michigan, and I'm going to get into my thing about Michigan, it's every year with this team. They dominate, they dominate, they dominate. They win the big game. Everyone thinks they're the best, and then they poop the bed when it matters most. And are they going to do that again? We'll see. Talent-wise, it's hard not to say they're not the best, but you got to prove that on the biggest scale. Let's get to this top 6, though. #6 for me, the Oklahoma Sooners. They struggled, but got the dub. Like Gabe said, you got to respect what they did in that game. Dillon Gabriel shows that he really wanted that one. And first of all, we got to give UCF their respect. John Rice Plumlee has not been playing all season, injured for 3 games. They've got 3 losses. This team is pretty good with UCF. Like, they've got a pretty explosive offense. There's some holes on this team, but they were coming in there. They wanted to prove a point just like Dillon Gabriel wanted to. So I gotta give my respects to UCF. Gus Malzahn is the master of upsetting these kinds of teams. He tried to do it, couldn't pull it off. Oklahoma's still at #6, though. They still got everything in front of them. I think they'll bounce back this week with a tough matchup in conference with the Kansas Hawkeyes. No, the Jayhawks. Jeez.
Yeah, the Jayhawks right there.
I was off on that. It didn't sound right. But let's move on to #5 for me here. This was tough. This is tough for me because I really respect this team. But a 15-7 win has got to give you some. Got to bump you down a little bit. I agree with you, Gabe. You got to suffer if you're going to play like that. Washington Huskies at #5 for me. I love this team. I'm going to ride or die this team all season. I still believe they can win a championship if they figure out some of these kinks that were shown this week. In conference, things happen. These teams know you the best. Am I shocked it's this team that did this to them? Yeah, it's a little shocking. That's not a good thing to happen, with some of your biggest games, reigning in this season. I was shocked. I mean,
I was bamboozled, dude. Like, how did you come out with such a good win against Oregon? Yep. And then only not be shut down on offense. Offense did not look good the entire game.
And Oregon was the test.
Yes.
Right.
I agree with that for sure. And then as you said, struggling against 1 and 5 teams, that's exactly what happened to Caleb Williams and USC. They struggled against Arizona State as well. They struggled against who else they struggled against? Arizona. 3-3, probably one of the best 3-loss teams that we've seen this year in college football. Mm-hmm. And it happens like that. Sometimes you're riding such a high horse that you have to have some of these teams like this bring you back down to earth. And I think that's what kind of happened to Washington. I think they got a little too looking too far into the future right now, mm-hmm. and wondering what's about to happen rather than staying focused on play by play, game by game. Because once again, these divisional games matter for everything. No matter what the team is, you got to be able to push past these games and win these games in impressive fashion. But some adversity in the way never helped. Some adversity in the way helped out a lot. So getting the job done.
Yeah, adversity is gonna these things you're teaching are learning lessons for a team that can still make the college football playoff. They'll put this one in the back burner and take some things from it, but it's one of those wins you kind of might not even. He's just like, hey, we're off. There was Michael Penix didn't have his best game, 2 interceptions. They couldn't run the ball to save their lives. They had 13 rushes for 13 yards. First of all, only 13 rushes. That is weird. You didn't even try to run the ball, it felt like. Their leading rusher had 13 yards with 1 carry. So If that
Well,
doesn't,
the main problem was they did 13. That's
Yeah.
the unlucky number. You should have done 14. You should have gone one more rush. It would have gone for 97, 98 yards,
Hey,
touchdown.
you're right.
They really missed the boat on that.
Yeah, we're going for even numbers, not odds.
yeah, smart man here. Smart man here.
Come on.
But yeah, it's weird. That was a weird game. You got to knock them a little bit. I still think everything's in front of this team. Love their talent. Love Michael Penix. He'll bounce back. But I got them at number 5. Let's go to number 4. Big time win for this team. I've got some respect, but the eye test is still against. It's just something with this eye test with this team. The Ohio State Buckeyes at number 4 for me. Watching this team, they just win. They just win. And you got to respect that. But there is something about watching. First of all, Penn State defense, legit. Very legit. Notre Dame, another good defense. There's something about this team where it doesn't feel like they're going to show up in the big moments for me. And should I penalize them right now? No, I shouldn't. But I do think these teams in front of them either have more talent or they've shown it on a different scale. And I need to see it against Michigan with this team. I need to see Ohio State not even curb stomp Michigan. I need them to just beat them, downright beat them, not a game-winning field goal. I need them to win this game. And, yeah, you could say that Notre Dame game, they shouldn't have won. Hey, they got the job done. This game, if Penn State had any ounce of offense, Penn State could have won that game. But
that offense was trash.
Very bad.
Offense was terrible.
Very bad.
Penn State was one of the tests for Ohio State. Coming into this, they were kind of being downplayed as the underdog. They didn't come in as an underdog, but they were getting downplayed. And so Michigan versus Ohio State at the end of the season is going to be the biggest test for both of these teams.
Oh yeah, that's the game of all games. And when you got so much parity this year, the stakes are at its highest for that game, because if you don't win that, you're not going to the conference championship. You're probably not making the playoffs unless some things happen at the top. You never know with the craziness of college football. But yeah, Ohio State, they have the best resume technically, but something about this eye test is just, something puts me off with this team. I don't know yet. I want to see them keep doing what they're doing. If they start winning big games, not struggling with Maryland's not bad, but you can't. If you're winning a championship, you got to start beating these teams down. For me, it's the eye test with Ohio State. I actually had it pulled up right here because now they get Wisconsin, Rutgers, Michigan State, Minnesota before Michigan. Walk through these teams. If you walk through these teams, go into that Ohio State game cooking, you never know what can happen. I like Ohio State. I had them early in this season, preseason. I was really high on this team. Kind of taking a step back. I'm starting to climb back onto this bandwagon and believing that this team can actually win a championship. Going to number 3, I got the Florida State Seminoles.
Mm-hmm.
This team,
That's right,
is so talented. So fun to watch, like you said, Gabe. There's not much else you can say about them. They keep winning as well. It's not been perfect all year, but hey, a win's a win, and they had a great win this weekend. Hey, what else can you say about this team? Jordan Travis is that guy. So much talent on the defensive line. So much talent in the receiver room, the running back room. The offensive line it's veterans. This team is just great. And when you look at their conference, ACC, it's dead almost. Florida State's carrying this team at the top with North Carolina's loss. You win out, you're in the playoff. ACC's not great, but if you win out, you're making the playoffs. So I like what I'm seeing from Florida State. I don't think anyone's going to beat them for the remainder of this season. Florida State at number 3. Number 2, give me the Georgia Bulldogs. I like them, love them. They're the defending champs. But they struggled a little bit. They've had some moments this season. And it's SEC, so you can't look too much into these games. But there's some games in this schedule for the remainder of the year. Got my eye on them, man. There's some interesting football games for this team looking ahead. And not going to, put anything in the universe right now, but there's some potential losses with me watching this team without Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers, without him on this team, you're pointing him out. Hey, after this weekend, it's possible, man. I truly believe it's possible. Which is crazy because last year they should have beat them. They get waxed. And this year feels like they have a better chance. And
that was perfect.
I'll talk about Tennessee later, but there's something about that team when it comes to matchup. I feel like it has a matchup that can beat Georgia. But when it comes to Georgia, they're the defending champs. You got to give them their respect. Should they probably still be number one? They haven't done anything to lose it, yes. But I like to look at this talent and production, even though this next team has played nobody, like we've said. Number one, Michigan Wolverines. They are absolutely curb stomping everybody, as they should. But when they're doing what they're doing to these teams, I mean, it's insane to watch. Like, you got these coaches are coming out and saying this is the best team that he's ever seen in his coaching career, and he's been coaching for 15 years. And it's like, there's value to that. Like me, this guy that sits in front of a camera and acts like he knows this sport, compared to a coach that coaches it. You know, I got to listen to that guy. I listen to this guy. He says something, I'm going to take it in. Michigan is so incredibly talented. That's just a common theme on this podcast, it feels like, when we talk about these guys. There's so much they can do, and the experience is now on their side. 2 years of failing. Once you get to the playoffs, it feels like maybe this might be the year they understand what it takes to get over that hump. Michigan, until they haven't remotely close, until they allow 10 points, on defense, then we can start talking about Georgia back at number one for me. They are absolutely curb stomping everybody. Michigan at the top until otherwise. That is my top six. Michigan 1, Georgia 2, Washington. Oh, no. Michigan 1, Georgia 2, Florida State 3, Ohio State 4, Washington 5, Oklahoma 6. All right, boys. Hey, got a little bit of a shift around, We're not,
there's some movement. There's some movement.
Yeah. These are fluid. There's movement every week. You never know what can happen. College football is so beautiful because of that. But there's another list that has been having a lot of movement around college football as well. Early in the season, it felt like everyone could win this award. Now you get closer to the end. There's kind of, these guys are getting some separation at the top. There's some guys that should deserve some recognition, but their teams are not as great as others. This award, you got to win this award. There's some guys at the top that keep on winning, and there's some guys at the bottom that keep on winning but have some bad losses. Let's get into our College Kings Heisman Watch. Gabe, you want to start us off here?
I do, and I do want to say I wish I had been able to watch more football this year, because I usually like to go for a defensive player for Heisman. That's a fact.
Ooh,
I
like
think
that. I like that.
the fact that Charles Woodson did beat out Peyton Manning for the Heisman, and I'm a huge Peyton Manning fan. I feel like it's an honor to lose the first Heisman to a defensive player, you know what I'm saying? Because if it was two, it'd be Peyton and Charles Woodson. And I think maybe they should consider that, because, defensive players all too often get bypassed on, the most important player. When, you think about some linebackers, you think about some safeties, you think about some offensive and defensive linemen, and people are very, they just bypass, all the hard work and sometimes that they do. So, I love the glory for the quarterbacks and running backs. I love it. But, sometimes, let's give a little love to the other guys. But that being said, I've had to keep my own Heisman watch and see who I think's going to win. And so, if I go elect a bunch of defensive players, we're probably not going to get very far in the actual Heisman watch. So, top 5 Heisman watch. Let's go. Number 5. Well, let's just say in no particular order. Let's do top 5.
Okay.
Let's do top 5.
Okay.
Michael Penix Jr. Okay, like we said, he's a phenomenal quarterback. I think he's one of the best in the country. But again, against weaker teams, smaller defenses, it's hard to really, for me to assess how well he might do in the profession, all the way through. So Heisman, number 5, Michael Penix Jr.
Okay.
Number 4, Jordan Travis.
Yeah, there it is.
Jordan Travis, dude, drops dimes like a money bag. I love watching him. He's so good. Again, ACC, smaller conference, like we said, he hadn't had to play really tough opponents except for, LSU and others, some big names out there. But Jordan Travis, I think he's one on the watch. We've got to keep an eye on that guy. He might sneak out and get it. Dylan Gabriel. The dude's a hustler. I don't know how to make it. You just watch him on the football field and you say he just hikes the ball and just everyone's eyes are on him. I mean, you're supposed to be watching wide receiver, you're supposed to be watching this, but everyone's eyes are on him, and you don't know what's going to happen next. Dillon Gabriel is electrifying to watch. I think he very well could come down with the award if he continues his play like he does, and if their defense can get it together, because the dude's putting up what 35 points, driving downfield all game long. I mean, he's not giving up anything. So Dillon Gabriel, number 3 on the top 5. Number 2, taking a page out of y'all's book from last week, Jaden Daniels. This guy at LSU, I think he had a rough start first few weeks. I think he did not get the momentum off the first couple of games that we were really looking for LSU. But I think that guy is an absolute stud. I think he's really going to go the distance. I think he's going to do well in the NFL once he gets his chance. I pray he does get his chance. But I think that guy really is going to go far, and I think he's got a good chance to get it. Number 1, Shedeur Sanders.
All right.
He knows the game. He knows the language. His dad is one of the best coaches. I know it's his first year in Colorado. I didn't expect a miracle, but look, I mean, he came out swinging at a TCU program that is nothing to shake a stick at. And I think, and they put themselves in just about every one of those games. Not Oregon, but listen,
not Stanford.
Not Stanford. Sorry about that. Oof. Don't talk about it. But Shedeur Sanders, I think that guy, he's going to go the distance. I think he's going to be our Heisman winner. I think that's just too storied to be the son of one of the most dynamic, both sides of the ball players of all time, maybe the most dynamic player of all time in the NFL. Deion Sanders is in a league of his own. I'm not necessarily saying they need to have their own separate colored jackets for the special people, at the top, but because I hear people saying they want tiers to this now, right? But anyway, Shedeur Sanders, you're my number 1 pick. Honorable mentions, Caleb Williams.
Okay.
I think he is great to watch. I think his arm talent is incredible. I do like watching him roll out to the right, jump, and then throw it right on cue. But, we've got to see it against some tougher defenses, and we've got to see it, not crumble. I think Caleb Williams still is in the running, but I think we may have cursed him with all this generational talent talk, all this talking about wanting part of an NFL franchise if he gets signed to that team, all this nonsense. I think we got ahead of ourselves, and I think Utah was like, hey, let's bring him back down to the Great Plains of Utah and teach him what's business. And I think that's exactly what happened. So Caleb Williams, you're still in the hunt. You're still honorable mention. Quinn Ewers, he's not going to get the numbers this year with his injury. He's not going to be able to compete with some of these other guys. But Quinn Ewers, watching him when he's comfortable in the pocket, that guy
That's insane.
He is absolutely a stud. And of course, he's a transfer from Ohio State. So that makes sense. Great, traditionally a great quarterback and wide receiver program at Ohio State. Yep. Quinn Ewers, top notch, some of the best in the league. And honorable mention, Joe Milton. Joe Milton, listen, rough start first few weeks. Okay. But Joe, you've got this, okay? I saw what you did against Clemson last year. We saw what you should have done against Alabama just the other day. But, play calling was an issue. There's other things to go in on that. But Joe Milton, you're the other honorable mention. I think you're the farthest in the hunt, but I believe you are in the hunt, Joe. And I'm with you, Joe.
Hey, I like that. I like that Heisman. I like that pick. I like that first pick, dude. That first pick, I like, because everybody's kind of falling off Shedeur right now because of the losses that they've had. But I mean, as you said, his dad is one of the greatest players to play the game of football, to know the game. So, I mean, I think he's got one step above other people as well, because he's getting pushed. I think he's getting pushed further than most players are in college football right now, just because of the heritage that he comes from, being Deion Sanders' son, and the coaching that he has around him as well. So no one can
face as much adversity as Shedeur Sanders is, because the grade they're holding him against is harder than any other grade. No one's treating Marvin Harrison Jr. or Brendan Rice with the same grade that they're treating Shedeur and Shiloh Sanders right now. And that's because their dad is the coach. Just because their dad is known for being that big personality, he's going to tell you what he's going to do, and he's going to come out there and he's going to do it. And you know what? Didn't quite do it on some of those games, but I mean, he's building an incredible program. I think his team is electrifying to watch. Even in their losses, you see how much they want the win. You see how hard they're working for it. And sometimes, like you said, you're supposed to win to get the Heisman. That's kind of one of the deals. But, even if they don't have the best win-loss record, obviously by the end of this year, I think Shedeur Sanders, man, I think he might be the best player in college football.
Hey, I love it because I was looking at these stats. I had them pulled up. Shedeur Sanders, number 4 in passing yards in the country and number 3 in passing touchdowns in the country. The stats are there. Only 3 picks on the year. I mean, this guy is awesome. Awesome to watch.
3 picks.
I mean,
that's insane.
He is cooking, and I respect. I respect not jumping off ship with these 3 losses. I mean, they're still a fun team to watch. Shedeur Sanders is a legitimate first-round pick. I think he should probably be the third quarterback off the board, bare like minimum, third or fourth quarterback off the board this year. He might stick around. He's making a lot of money over there at Colorado.
I mean, Dion already came out saying that he's staying back. So Dion, first off, Dion does not want to lose his starting quarterback.
Dude, he's like making $8 million in NIL, I think. Like he's easily the most.
And he has control over his career. He can't get traded. He can't get cut. He can't deal with a bad coach or a situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Front office. Like, why would now that he can make money in college? I say keep making money in college till you can't. Then go to the NFL. Then tear them up.
Yeah, do Big 12 next year too without Texas and Oklahoma. They could legitimately go win that conference. You never know what can happen with the
my God, dude. I just realized they don't have Texas and Oklahoma in there next year.
They can They could go win that conference. So
that conference is going to be dog water next year.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Everything is going to be dog water.
Everything, yes.
Everything's just going to be weird next year. The 12-man playoff's going to be weird. All SEC conference next year. It's just going to be weird.
Super conference time, baby.
Nate, you want to start us off with your Heisman?
Yeah. I'll go right ahead here. There's some players here that they got to have their respect. I love your honorable mentions because there are some guys that, they aren't going to get their respect here. I don't have my honorable mentions. I feel like I need to start doing that. I'll start with my number 5 guy here. Jordan Travis is my number 5 guy right here. He is winning games, and he has beat one of these guys that got in front of him. My only reason it comes down to stats and importance to the team. Jordan Travis has played amazing. I think he will be a really good NFL quarterback. I said it going into the season that I think his best years are in front of him. He's played still very impressive football, and they still have everything in front of him. I don't think we've seen the best from him this season. He plays his best in his biggest moments, and they've got some big ones coming up at the end of this year, and I think we're going to see the best of Jordan Travis. Let's go to number 4. This one's tough. But J.J. McCarthy from Michigan at number 4 for me. The stats they're there. They're not mind-blowing, but the offense is unstoppable right now. Yes, they're playing nobodies, but they're unstoppable on offense, putting up 40 points a week. He's played a lot more efficient. He's improved every single time he stepped on the field. I got to give him his respect because they're winning football games, but the stats are not fully there, and this team is loaded. So you kind of have to, you got to play that. You got to play that a little bit. I don't want to give them too much respect, but you got to give them respect. Undefeated. They're my number 1 team. If they're my number 1 team, they've got to have a close to Heisman quarterback, and I think J.J. McCarthy is at that skill set. Let's go to number 3. This guy, if he was not on this team, we've said it in multiple pods in the past, this team would be dead. Jaden Daniels at number 3 for me. He is so unbelievably talented. If LSU did not lose to Florida State or Ole Miss, he would easily be the number 1 quarterback in the country. He is destroying every single stat, it feels like. Right now, he is let's see. He has the most passing touchdowns in the country, and he is number 2 in pass yards, only behind Penix, who is 3 yards more than him. So Jaden Daniels at 2,573 passing yards and 25 passing touchdowns. Yeah, only 3 picks. Only 3 picks. Oh, damn it. Only 3 picks for Jaden Daniels as well. He is special. I didn't know he would be this good this year. I love Jaden Daniels, LSU guy, but I didn't expect this. He has played on an all-time level. It's crazy to say that with, having Joe Burrow here a few years ago. You see this guy, you're like, good gosh. LSU couldn't get a quarterback to save their life. Now they have 2 of the most, generational when it comes to their franchise. I mean, their university. And they get these 2 guys in a span of, 5 years. It's an impressive thing to see. I love what I'm seeing from Jaden. You got to give him his respect. This team would be dead without him. LSU still has everything in front of them if they get some help with some losses in the SEC. If they handle their business, you never know what can happen. 2-loss team in the playoff, you never know. Let's move on to number 2 in my Heisman watch. I got to put Dylan Gabriel. I was fighting between two players. I'm putting Dylan Gabriel. He's still great, and he had his moment when he needed it once again to get the win against a USCF team. I really would love to have seen him go out there and dominate his former team and kind of solidify himself at number one, with my number one guy kind of having an off week. But Dylan Gabriel, still a very impressive player. Another team that can just, if they keep on winning, they can get right into this playoff conversation, sitting at number 6 for me, but they have everything in front of them. They can get into the playoffs if they win out, and Dylan Gabriel continues to be special. Number 1, he's my favorite quarterback in the country. He had an off week. Every quarterback has an off week. This was his. Arizona State's not a great one to have it against, but he did. Give me Michael Penix Jr. still at number 1 for me. I'm still a Michael Penix defender. CDM said it last week that he can maybe still the number 1 guy off the board. We'll see. If he, keeps winning football games, maybe gets to a championship game and, makes some plays, he might could put himself in that conversation. Caleb Williams, with everything, like you said, Gabe, asking minority ownership. And what are we doing? You're not even in the league yet. You're like, hey, let's slow down here. That's not a good look.
It's some strong Sam Darnold energy. I don't remember if you recall, he didn't want to go to a bad team like the Browns, as he said. And
instead he went to the Jets.
Yeah. Sam Darnold, what are you doing now? Listen, buddy,
he's actually sitting on the bench on Monday Night Football right now. It's kind of funny.
Oh, I'm aware. But I just wanted to say, look, you come in with an ego like that, not realizing you're in a room full of people that are probably better than you. Yeah, you're still a big fish in the little pond right now.
Yes.
You're about to get to the big pond. And I think if Caleb Williams really thought that, then come on, man, you need to settle down. As the old
a humble pie,
not
man.
Good.
How many times have we seen this work out? It's very, very few times where the quarterback or a player says, I'm not going to this team. They're not good enough. I'm not going to play for a team that's bad. It's only happened a very, very select amount of times in the draft. And those players,
Eli Manning, and look what happened.
Eli Manning, with that, 2 championships, so it works out. Deion Sanders.
Well, that was a little bit different. I think Eli Manning said, "I'm not going to play for your team because I don't want to." And that's a very different thing to say than I don't want to go to a crap team like the Chargers, because I don't think that's what he said. I think it was more of a coaching situation that his dad was advising him.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. I got you.
I'm not going to disrespect someone who says, "Hey, I think." We're gonna need a trade from that. I think there's ways to do that, but the way Sam Darnold did it was classless, and it showed him. And you got to just desserts. Enjoy the bench,
and that's why Baker Mayfield got drafted above him. So hey, it's one of those things though. For me, it's a weird look, but Michael Penix, if he keeps doing what he's doing, the class act, he's gonna win some scouts and coaches over. That's my number 1 player in my Heisman still. He better get back on his high horse, though. Not playing great last week against a bad team. You might be slipping down, man. You might be slipping down. So, CDM, what you got with your Heisman Watch?
Okay. At number 5, I'm going to put Bo Nix. I still think Bo Nix coming off of a Washington loss, but he still played good. He still played efficient in that game. He's still one of the best completion percentage passers in college football right now. Still has a very good offense around him, so I still think that he should be in contending for this. Plus, I think he made his 54th start in college football. It's the longest active starting streak in college football,
or something like that. But
it's in the 50s. Yeah, he's like he's like the longest starting quarterback to start in college football right now. So I got him at 5. At 4, I'm going to take Jordan Travis. I agree with both of you saying that his time is coming. His days are looking forward to the future in the NFL. I think those are going to be his best days. But right now, he is just putting on a clinic. Especially with this high-powered offense. As Nathan said, it's been a long time coming for this team. Been a very long time coming. Lots of ups and lots of downs, but they finally put all the pieces together, got everybody right, and he's, as you said, Gabe, dropping dimes like a coin machine, man. Like, he is just doing what he needs to do. At number 3, I have Dylan Gabriel. As Gabe said, I agree with him once again. Dude is just electric. Dude is a horsepower monster. He gets the ball where you need to be. And once again, everybody has their eyes on him because you don't know what he can do. He can beat you with the pass game. He can beat you with the run game. He can fake you out. He can do a lot of things on that field that Oklahoma hasn't seen at quarterback for about a year or two. Last year he got hurt, so he didn't get to see much of him, especially in the Red River rivalry where this was his first time playing, and look what he did. Balled out, had a monster game. Especially that game-winning drive, which I loved. I have Dylan Gabriel at 3. At number 2, I have the man who struggled last week. I have
Jordan Addison, ball.
Dog.
That was an impressive catch.
Dude's a dog. At number 2, I have Michael Penix Jr. Coming off of a bad week, 2 interceptions that happened in the first quarter were pretty bad. Had to come back down to earth and realize where he's at right now. You can't ride that high horse forever. But give him time. I promise you that they will be in a Pac-12 championship playing against Oregon again, and they will be playing for they will go to the playoffs to go to a national championship, I think. And then at number 1, oh my gosh, Nathan, you are lying. Dear
That's
Lord.
a hell of a play.
At number 1, I have the man that has been carrying this squad for all season long, the man who has 25 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, identical stats to Joe Burrow when he was at LSU. I have Jaden Daniels at number 1. Wow. With the 2 losses, I understand the loss to Florida State was bad. Another powerhouse team, and then the loss against Ole Miss. I don't want to put that on him. I'm going to put it on the coaching staff and the terrible defensive play that was happening in that game. That was terrible.
Just horrible.
But if you look
on the board, he put points on the board in that game. What was it? 49-55.
Yeah, it was an explosive game, and Jaden Daniels did what he had to do. And as Nathan said, there are some guys that are winning games that should be in it. There are some guys that are, have lost a few games, missed field goal. There are some guys that have lost a game that should still be in it. And I think Jaden Daniels is that one. I mean, you would be stupid not to have him in your top 5. You don't have to have him at 1, but having him in the top 5 is respectable because of what this guy's doing, what he's doing for this team. As I've told Nathan multiple times, if he's not the quarterback for this team, LSU is probably 4 losses right now, in my opinion, if you don't have him, especially with all the talent that he has around him, making them better as well. Malik Neighbors is one of those guys that he has just found his main target in.
Brian Thomas, dog.
Yeah, Brian Thomas, dog. Dude's going to be playing on Sundays. Jaden Daniels' best years are going to be in the NFL. We've seen it at Arizona State when he played as a freshman. We've seen it the past 2 years that he's played at LSU, and how much better he's gotten through these 2 seasons with LSU, especially with adversity. Last year was kind of a weird year. Still went to the SEC championship, had to play Georgia. He got hurt. But Jaden Daniels right now is showing to me that, even with these 2 losses, that he is still one of the best quarterbacks in this right now. I want to agree with Gabe, like putting a defensive player, because the Heisman is basically a quarterback award. Heisman is a glorified quarterback award. Charles Woodson had one of the best defensive seasons that we've ever seen so far, and I was tempted to put Travis Hunter back in this, but after that Stanford loss and getting 300 yards put on your head was just terrible.
Yeah.
But that's who I have my top 5: Jaden Daniels at 1, Penix at 2, Gabriel at 3. Jordan Travis at 4, and Bo Nix at 5.
Love it. Hey, I hear you, man.
And I do like the honorable mentions, Gabe. I do like those a lot. Yeah. I love keeping Caleb Williams still should be kind of in the conversation for sure. It's just these past two games have not looked good at all. Like, these past 2 games have just been struggle buses for this team in general. Not even the defense, which I harp on so much, but the offense just did not look good. Caleb Williams didn't have a passing touchdown last game. And I know there's still some things that he can do that most quarterbacks in college football cannot do. This is Patrick Mahomes in college football right now, but you have to be able to win those big games. And he's still got to play Washington and Oregon. So those are the 2 biggest games right there for his career. And going 0-3 against Utah is terrible. Just terrible. Sorry. Utah owns Lincoln Riley right now. Utah literally will own Lincoln Riley by the end of his career. It's insane. Yes, I like the top 5 guys. I like the top 5 Heisman picks. They're nice.
Yes, sir. Hey, I think this leads us right in to our playoff predictions here. Is yours going to change, CDM? I'm not going to give mine away. Do we see any movement in your playoff predictions?
Did I change? Let me check did I change mine from last week? I couldn't tell because I promise you I feel like I just put the same teams again. Let me see real fast. Nope, same teams.
Okay. Hey, give them to us. Let's see what you got.
Okay, at 4, I have the Georgia Bulldogs at 4. I think we see a loss. I think, as you said, there are some losses coming their ways, in my opinion, especially without Brock Bowers. I think that they either lose to Ole Miss, and I'm praying if they don't lose to Ole Miss that Tennessee could please beat them, Gabe. I'm begging them to beat Georgia.
Listen, if Tennessee thinks they're going to get back into college football, which it would, the playoffs, it'd be obviously an extreme situation. All the top teams would have to lose 1 or 2 games, and Tennessee would have to beat Georgia. But if Tennessee can beat Georgia, there's a hope. And I have seen Tennessee throw back-to-back Hail Marys against Georgia and end up taking the win. So I've seen the impossible before. I'd love to see it again.
Listen, I'm just saying because it opens a door for Bama to be back in that. So really hoping that y'all can do that. At number 3, I got the Washington Huskies. I think they are the best team in the Pac-12 right now. Michael Penix Jr., probably the best quarterback in college football. I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up between who's the best. But Washington right there at number 3. At number 2, I got Oklahoma. Oklahoma at number 2. I still think that they can make a push. The schedule is really not that tough right now. I think we get a rematch between Texas and Oklahoma. If Quentin is back by that time, grade 2 AC joint sprain, so that's pretty bad. But I think it's basically kind of like Derek Carr's when he got his AC joint sprained. I think he's going to be out for maybe 1-2 weeks. But that means Texas is going to have to have some like elite quarterback play from elite coming out of these couple weeks. So Oklahoma at 2, and then at number 1, I have Michigan Wolverines. Michigan right now, the eye test is there obviously, but we will see when it comes to playing Ohio State if they are all about it, especially since it is in Ann Arbor this year. We're going to see if Michigan can own Ohio State for 3 straight years. But I think they can be end up being the number 1 team. It just depends if they are in the playoffs. Can they not do what they do every other year and choke it? That's the biggest That's the biggest question for Michigan in the playoffs. Can they be elite? Because last year against TCU was mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing that TCU went into that game and won. So Michigan at 1, Oklahoma at 2, Washington at 3, and Georgia at 4 is my playoff prediction. Hopefully that changes in the next couple of weeks, and I can put Alabama in there. But, fingers crossed. This
guy. No, he's never going to give up. I respect that.
Never.
I'm never going to give up on LSU either. Gabe, how we feeling? What's this playoff prediction on your side?
Man, to be honest, guys, I'd written down completely different results. So when I go back over these, I have to make sure I don't butcher it. But I think I've been converted. Number 4, I think, is going to end up being Michigan.
Okay.
Oh,
I think Michigan
like
is going to be number 4. I think, like I said, they're a dominant team. Once they get into these other, they have to beat Ohio State to get to the college football playoffs. But either way, I think they're going to end up number 4 on the list, however it falls. Number 3, I'm calling it audible here. I'm moving some stuff around. Number 3, I think, is Florida State.
Okay.
Oh, I like that one.
Florida State, I think, is going to come up over Michigan in the consolation bracket. Number 2, I think it's going to be the Washington Huskies.
Okay.
I think Washington is going to get all the way to the championship game, and I think they're going to be slightly overwhelmed by an incredible program that is just one of the toughest in the country and will be for a long time and has been, obviously, the past couple of years. And that top dog is going to be in the dog pound. It's going to be the Georgia Bulldogs. They're going to come back and do it again because Brock Bowers is going to magically heal. They're going to take him to every church in the entire Athens area, and they're going to lay hands and they're going to heal himself. He's going to be back in the game in 2 weeks, guys. Maybe with a robot arm, whatever else.
Good Lord.
I'm just going to tell you right now, Georgia, I think, is going to come away this year as a three-peat, as one of the hardest things to ever do. I think they want it. I think they're not going to let themselves lose a game, and I think that's what it comes down to. When you are facing adversity, can you sit there and put yourself through it time and time again? And Georgia does. They do it every week. Have you seen their schedule? They play Alabama and Tennessee every year. That's why only one Alabama, Tennessee, or Georgia is ever going to get to the college football playoffs, because every year they're all going to get 1 or 2 losses out of that. And Tennessee's going to get their turn eventually, but I think this year Georgia's still on my radar as the top dog.
Oh, yeah.
Respectable.
Are we thinking we're getting this Aaron Rodgers, injury regiment, with the mating Dolphins? I think that'll help a lot with, Brock Bowers' injury.
Going to darkness retreat.
They're going to use the witchcraft magic. Okay, they're gonna bring out Harry Potter, all the spells. Okay,
if this dude is back in 2 weeks, if this dude's back in 2 weeks, I'm gonna freak out, dude.
I think it'll be 4 weeks.
I think it's going to be 4. I think Georgia Tech is probably where he comes back, gets his feet back under him, and then he's going to be back for the SEC championship just to lose to Alabama and get their second loss of the season and not go back for a three-peat.
He'll be back for
It's the hopes and dreams, guys. It's okay.
He'll be back for Ole Miss. Y'all are crazy. No.
Oh, dear God.
No, let's get into mine here. I have no movement, I don't think, as well. This is a tough one, but teams, I like these teams. I think they're going to be here at the end. They're going to win their conferences. I don't think we see a double conference. None of us had it. I don't think we're going to see two teams from the same conference here. Number 4, Florida State here. Like I said, their talent's there, but the ACC, it seems like they're going to be the weakest conference of all the conferences. So, I'm leaving the Big 12 out. I'm expecting a loss for Oklahoma at some point to put them out of this. All these teams right here should be undefeated. Number 4, like I said, Florida State. I'm not going to repeat myself 1,000 times. Unbelievably talented, one of the best talented groups in the country. I've said that like every pod. Love what they have when it comes to on paper. Can they win the big one? We'll see. Number 3, Washington Huskies hold here for me. Like I've said, man, I believe in this offense. Offenses have made the playoffs every year. That best offense, we've seen it with TCU, Alabama, LSU. There's one team with an elite offense, shaky-ish defense, and Washington's going to find a way to overcome these little offensive woes that we've seen here, and they're gonna win this. They're gonna win their games, and they're gonna go undefeated, win the Pac-12. Let's go to number 2. Got the Georgia Bulldogs. I think we see a very, very, very close SEC championship game where it's going to put some doubt in some of these college football, committee guys. Georgia's going to handle their business for the rest of the season. Has a tough game against Ole Miss and a tough game against Tennessee. Get to the SEC championship undefeated. I think they're going to struggle with whoever they have to play with if it either comes down to Alabama, Ole Miss, or LSU. I think we see a fun football game for whoever makes it. This is not the same Georgia team, even though Brock will be back for that game. We're going to see a very good SEC championship game, and that's going to put a little bit of doubt, even though every SEC team could possibly beat all these teams because that's how good the SEC is. But this team at number 1 is going to wax everybody for the rest of the season until we get to the playoffs, because this is when they like to choke. This is a classic Michigan move here. Number 1 for me is the Wolverines. They're going to wax they're going to beat Ohio State. They're going to have any problem with Iowa. The Hawkeyes are somehow still in this little
Penn State.
They're going to beat Penn State. They're going to beat the snot out of Penn. Penn State might not even put up 3 points on this team.
It's in Happy Valley, dude. It's in Happy Valley.
Happy Valley.
It's the whiteout game. It's the whiteout game.
They might be able to hold that offense, but they ain't score on this Michigan defense. The Michigan defense is just as good or might be better than Ohio State's defense.
I think it's a lot better than Ohio State's defense.
I don't know about a lot. Ohio State's got a pretty good defense. They got some players.
Have you run the simulation on a Wolverine versus a Nittany Lion?
Man, this is a good.
Honestly, that's the real question, right?
Let's see.
Do you know what a Nittany lion even is? Do I know what it is?
Is it a mountain lion?
Let's see.
We've always assumed, haven't we?
I mean, it looks like a mountain lion from their animatronic picture. It looks like a mountain lion. Oh, speaking of Georgia, don't they play in Tennessee this year?
I thought they played in Athens this year. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
No. Y'all played in Athens last year, so y'all get Georgia at home.
Ooh,
I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that 12th man to be super, super loud. I'm gonna need that stadium to go insane.
They are. I mean, no doubt. I mean, it's one of the loudest stadiums in college football. The only ones that get louder or relatively louder is Death Valley and Baton Rouge. There's the only two you really got to worry about. I know Michigan's loud. I think they recorded the loudest ever there.
Penn State's pretty loud too. Penn State is pretty loud.
All right, I'm about to find out, y'all. All right. A Badger Wolverine are fierce. Oh, this is a hell of a way to put it. Are fierce little bastards, but they are scavengers that aren't adapted to taking down large prey items. A Nittany Lion / Cougar would definitely take a good bit of scratches and bites, but would easily win this fight. So
so it's determined that Penn State's winning, right?
So,
it's determined we are Penn State.
Science has spoken, okay? Sorry, Jim. I don't know how many signs you're going to steal, but this right here says science is king, and that means that the Nittany Lion is going to eat that Wolverine.
I love these analysis from people on the internet. A mountain lion, Nittany lion is much bigger and heavier than the Wolverine and would likely win a death match. So, hey, the internet has spoken. I think we have to listen to him here. I'm betting on the underdog there. Then this little Wolverine's gonna win. Enough scratches, enough bites. We're gonna win. Number 1, Michigan for me. Holding it. Yeah. All right. Hey, I think that'll do it for our little segment with Gabe, my man. I love your energy. You brought some heat, my man.
Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate you guys so much. I've been waiting to come on and spread some love and spread some life. Please, I'm sorry I couldn't be on for the Tennessee-Alabama segment. You just assume that everything I say, would be correct.
Yes.
And obviously, please don't fire Josh Heupel, okay? Tell everyone to calm down, okay?
I don't think it's time yet. I don't think it's time.
No.
You have a bit on the ball talk.
Hey, listen, he got his win last year against Bama. I think that's an upset.
Listen, it's a work in progress. This program is far from perfect, but we're going to keep building.
No, would you rather have him or Jeremy Pruitt? Like, which one?
Don't even talk
exactly.
to me. CDM, I don't even know who you
Where's
are
the
anymore.
McDonald's bags? Give me a McDonald's bag.
Where's Dooley at? Hold on a second.
No, God.
Oh, geez.
Didn't Kiffin coach there? Didn't Lane Kiffin coach there too?
Don't you even begin.
They dropped him off on the side of the road.
We're getting this guy started. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Hey, just to let you know, I will talk good thing. Hey, I will let everybody know that Gabe did write everything down for this game. He did tell me everything he wrote down, and they are correct stats. They are facts. Show us what you got written down a little bit. Show us the notepad. Show us the work and creativity that you put in so much.
Oh, yeah, we got lists, guys. We got lists. I got players listed.
Oh, look at this.
Dude comes to work. Dude comes to work with facts.
I got some pictures in here.
Look at this.
Oh, you drew pictures?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Sure. There's
Dude,
a sync schedule somewhere in there.
Oh, God.
Listen, no, it was a great football game. The score was a little misleading by the end. That scoop and score at the end definitely made it look like a more distant game, but that was great football through and through, and it was a pleasure to watch.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it was a pleasure having you on, man. Yes. We appreciate it. Finally, we got you on here to talk some ball.
All right.
Absolutely, guys. Hey, y'all have a good one.
Yes.
You too, Gabe.
Adios.
See you,
Adios.
Gabe.
Nate Dogg and CDM are back here. The duo.
Welcome back.
Great segment there with Gabe, man.
Great segment, dude. Yeah, I love having Gabe on here. We've been trying to get him on for a while. Man knows his stuff. I'll be sitting at work with him, and we'll just talk ball almost all night. On the golf course, we'll talk ball. Big Tennessee fan, had to break his heart this weekend or last weekend, so sorry about that. But, man, such a great man. Love the energy that he brought to the pod. We're definitely going to try to get him on here again for sure.
Yeah, man, had some interesting picks. I respect a man that is no regard for everything else out there. Like, have your opinion. I love it.
Goes with his gut. He went with his gut for sure. Yeah. His Heisman pick, picking Shador was very, very big. I like that one.
I respect it, man. I have no hate about that. I respect a guy that has his opinion and is going to be strong about it. And he has some good ones, man. I respected his reasoning on Michigan.
Hey, man, I told you, the man knows his stuff. We would sit up at Sully's and he would come up and talk to us, and you would be like, man, we need to try and get him on the pod.
We got to get him out there.
Finally, he switched shift with our manager today, and everybody was like, "What's Gabe off?" I was like, "Gabe came to join the boys.
Yeah,
Gabe came to talk facts and speak ball, and guess what? He did it, and he promised it, and he delivered.
That's time commitment, and I respect that. Of course, we'll have Gabe back on sooner rather than later. Once again, thank to him. But let's get this pod over with, my brother. We got to get into these game picks. I said it earlier in the pod. CDM still holds a 1-game lead at 28-19 is his record on game picks. I'm sitting at 27-20. 5-1 last week for both of us. Only loss was the Penn State-Ohio State game. We're cooking with gravy, cooking with grease. How you feeling, brother?
Man, we should have put something on this, man. We should have put like some money or like a bet. We should have done something because it's gonna come down to the wire at one point. One of us is bound to mess up sooner rather than later. Once again, the Colorado pick at the beginning of the season is keeping me strong, helping me out.
Yes,
none of my upset picks have really come into play, but I don't really think I have any upset picks for this weekend. But it's fun. It's been fun, dude. It's been fun going up against you with these picks. We've been wanting to do that for so long. And, may the best man win, obviously. Yes. May the best man win.
Of course. Hey, as always, brother, let's get right into this. Let's see if we got some different picks on the horizon here. Let's go out to Kentucky for the Volunteers matchup against those Wildcats. The Tennessee Volunteers lines are moving, so they're fluctuating a little bit. Right now, Tennessee is now a 4-point favorite, and the over-under is now 51.5. CDM, start us off.
Kentucky and Tennessee both coming off of losses. Did Kentucky have a bye week last week? I forgot.
No, they lost. Missouri.
Oh, okay. So both teams coming off very big losses to ranked opponents right now. I think Tennessee is going to take a lot away from this Alabama game and realize things that they should fix, mistakes that they don't need to make. Kentucky's a weird team. Kentucky's weird because, at the beginning of the season, they were dominant, got killed by Georgia, and I think that's what ultimately led them to slide over the edge. But it's at Kentucky, which is very hard it's a tough environment to play in, but so is Tennessee.
My fault. You were right. Kentucky was technically off last week. The last game they lost was to Kentucky.
Okay, I got you. So Tennessee, let me rephrase this. Tennessee coming off a loss to Bama. Kentucky coming off a bye week. I think this plays in Tennessee's favor. Tennessee just had a really bad, tough loss coming off of the Alabama loss. I'm going to take the Tennessee Volunteers to win this game. I'm going to take them to win 35-28. I think their offense can get it done, and their defense comes back out swinging. I think their offense will be more explosive and less conservative than they were against Bama. So I have Tennessee winning that game.
All right. Hang on one sec. We got a 50-yard field goal here. I won't sell it if I'm ahead of you.
It's okay. No, you are ahead of me. Just give me a second. If they miss this, then give the 49ers another chance.
Yeah, you're in for a rude awakening.
They made it, didn't they?
No.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
If I'm a Vikings fan, I'm in so much pain, bro. Like, so much pain. You can't.
Hey, the Ravens defense is the reason I'm winning. So, compliments to the Ravens defense for shutting down Detroit.
Yeah, I'm going to get my first L in this fantasy league. It's okay. Listen, I needed a miracle. And, hey, Hawkinson went out there and balled, man. He put up 20 points. He did everything he could for me. Can't be too mad.
Christian McCaffrey does what Christian McCaffrey's always done for my fantasy team. Be a dog.
Maybe like a – man, what? I really needed that field goal to go in so we could go to OT. Oh, wow. What a play. Harrison Smith, dog. All right. Sorry.
Wait, they missed it. Yes. Wait, I thought you said they made it.
No, they didn't. No, they missed.
Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Yes. Vikings are going to lose this game.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, you just gave that 49ers team so much hope.
Yep. That Vikings fans, this has got to be the most, painful season, bro. You just cannot. Ooh. You cannot. You have no luck. But all right,
back to
yes,
pod,
sorry.
Nate. Who do you have? Tennessee versus Kentucky.
Yes, sorry, we got off topic, and this line keeps fluctuating. It's now at 3.5. So
it was just at
Tennessee,
4.
Yeah, it was at 4. Now it's at 3.5. Literally before the pod, it was at 4. Now it's at 3.5. Tennessee. So they got Tennessee winning, but not by much. I don't see this as actually a close game personally. Mm-hmm. I think Tennessee kind of curb stomps. I think what I saw last week, I saw a lot of good things, and I've seen a lot of kind of just bad things for Kentucky in their last couple games. The bye is going to help a lot, but sometimes you see a little bit of rust, that ring rust from not playing some ball. So I think we see that early on, and Tennessee takes advantage. A little bit of a surge late by Kentucky.
You look at it too. I mean, Oklahoma, kind of hoping to Oklahoma too, coming off a bye week and just not playing ball, not playing against opponents, and kind of struggled a little bit. So I agree with you on that. It's going to be hard for Kentucky to really get a groove going.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just don't see there's something about this Kentucky team. I'm just not sold. I cannot believe I
The
picked
frauds.
them. I cannot believe I picked them against Georgia. They're not a good. They're not like if
We
they
both
can't
picked
run the
them
ball.
against Georgia.
If they can't run the ball, they're not winning the game. So, and I don't think they're running the ball.
Ely's not playing the way he's been playing. Like he's not playing like he did at NC State
Pick.
at all.
Oh my God. Game. Vikings win. Vikings win. Brock Purdy pick.
How bad was this?
Yeah, it was.
Oh my gosh.
Wasn't perfect, but hell of a play.
Son of a. Oh God.
Oh, we got to fight. We got to fight. Let's go.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to drop Brock. I'm gonna have to drop Brock Purdy.
I cannot believe I traded that guy to you.
You got Deshaun Watson out of it, and he didn't even play.
Hey, it's okay. I got Justin Herbert who put up 10
And how
points.
did he do last week?
10 points, baby. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not in any better spot than you. So,
No.
but yeah, man, this one's fun, interesting. I think Tennessee kind of statement win, kind of get them ready for these next big games against Georgia and stuff. So give me the Volunteers. Yeah, not great. Give me the Volunteers, 34-21 in this one.
Huh.
Yeah, so we'll see. All right, Oklahoma.
Speaking of Oklahoma.
Hey, speaking of Oklahoma, they're going out there to face the Kansas Jayhawks. Now, basketball, legit basketball. That's number one in basketball, in college basketball, the Kansas Jayhawks. Hey,
They're doing something better than North Carolina can't do.
Yeah. Hey, see, are they gonna be a top 10 team in football and basketball this year? Give me your thoughts on that.
Oh, dear God, no. No, dear God, no, they're not going to be a top 10 team. I don't think I've ever seen Kansas be a top 10 team.
Not B. I said beat. Are they going to beat a top 10
I thought
team?
you said B. My bad. Oh, no, they're not going to beat Oklahoma. No,
Same answer.
No, they're not. Same answer. They can beat them in basketball. They're not going to beat them in football. I'm sorry. Oklahoma is just good. So, coming off of that one, I have Oklahoma winning this one. I have them winning 41-21.
Good.
They have to curve stop somebody. They have to get back in the groove of being dominant again. Close win last week against UCF. No slouches right there. I know they're still riding high on that Texas win for sure, but you have to come back down to earth, come back down to reality, and really look at what this team's about to be about. And I think Kansas is going to be the team to get them back on track. Sorry, Kansas, you're like the punching bag right now to start off. So, Oklahoma 41-21, Boomer Sooner, baby. Let's go.
I like that. Here you come from. I kind of agree as well. This is going to be a game where I think we see a little bit of a flex here by Oklahoma. Gets the job done in a big way. Give me the Oklahoma Sooners. 40-24. Very similar scores. We had very similar scores.
Very, very similar scores right there.
So, let's go right on. Another Big 12 matchup. That's weird to say about BYU, but yes, Big 12 now.
I know.
They go out to Austin, Texas to face those Longhorns. The Longhorns, the line, it feels like it's got to – hang on, let's see if it's updated. It didn't update before the pod.
You got 14 in the script. It was 14.5, but they're also without Ewers. Ewers is not playing in this game. So – and BYU is no slouch either. BYU can get the job done for sure. I mean, they give teams a run for their money.
17.5 still. It's holding at that.
17.5?
Yep. That's what it's holding at still.
Lord.
So,
good God.
That's a lot.
Well,
that's a lot of points.
It is a lot of points, especially without your starting quarterback at the helm. So they have a lot of confidence in this Texas team in general, besides the quarterback play. They have a lot of confidence.
Yes.
You start this one off. Who you got winning this game?
Yeah, the 17.5 is crazy to me. BYU's not that bad. Like, they've got some bad losses, but they've got some pretty good wins as well. I got the Texas Longhorns pulling it off, but I think we got a really good game on our hands. A little bit of a defensive battle, which Texas will win because they have the better defense. Give me the Longhorns 24-21.
I like that. I like BYU. I've always liked them. I love them as a sneaky team in this conference. Not to go out and win it, but just to give teams trouble, give teams a little run for their money.
Yes.
I'm taking Texas. I think Texas gets it done. I think Malik Murphy can solidify himself as, after Quinn Ewers leaves, the starting quarterback for this Longhorns team for next season. I have Texas winning 31-14.
All right, 34-14. All right, you got some big wins here. I hear where you're coming from. Let's go on to another one.
It's just like, I mean, the the Big 12 is just so like they got some teams in there that is just like you got some teams from the American League that are just trying to get out there right now for recruits more like it. But Oklahoma and Texas run that division right now.
Yeah, they do. So let's go on to an SEC matchup that could or could not be good. Let's see, man. What are you thinking? Georgia goes out to the Swamp. They are 14.5-point favorites, over under 49. What you feeling in this one, CDM?
Well, it's in Jacksonville. Remember that they made a neutral territory.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's like even playing field, but I'm pretty sure Georgia's going to take over that stadium.
Probably.
Florida's been playing some good ball right now. Florida's been playing some really good ball. Graham Mertz has been playing very good to solidify himself as the Florida QB, the captain of that team. He's progressively gotten better throughout the season. After that Utah game was a struggle, but it was the first game of the season against a really good team. So they've progressively gotten better. I mean, they beat Tennessee already. Mm-hmm. So there's that. Georgia without Brock Bowers this is the first game without him. It's going to be weird. It's going to be not the same Georgia offense that we're used to seeing with him getting the ball or moving him around on that offense. But that also means we get to see a little bit of a new Georgia team, not really a new Georgia team, but a new different offense that does not revolve around Brock. Has to get more people going in that offense. Carson Beck has got to be the better quarterback on the field that day as well. Kirby Smart has to have smart play calling and smart coaching, as we said prior. So I'm going to take Georgia in this one, 34-20.
Okay.
I think it's going. I mean, I wanted to take Florida. I wanted to take Florida and upset. I think they could do it, but you can't go right now. I'm not going to go against the Dogs anymore. I've learned my lesson of picking against Georgia, and I've decided not to do that again until I see an absolute reason they should not be picked to win. So yeah, I have Georgia winning this game. I think it's going to be a battle.
Yeah, I kind of agree on the pick Georgia until proven otherwise thing. We learned our lesson the hard way, but I do have a weird feeling about this one. This game is either going to be really good or is it going to be a classic Georgia beatdown. No in between. It's not going to be in between, in my opinion. So, what do I think it is? I think it's going to be a good game. I think we're going to see a little bit of some Carson Beck struggles, no safety valve with Brock Bowers. You don't have your best player on the field. I think we're going to see a little bit of an adjustment period with this squad. I think they'll find the run late on this Florida defense to kind of just edge themselves in a victory here. Give me the Bulldogs, though, 30-23. All right, CDM. All right, we'll see what happens in that SEC matchup, brother.
Did you pick Florida?
No, Georgia, 30-23.
Oh, I was about to say, I thought I heard wrong. I was like, oh my gosh, Nathan.
Gators.
Oh, we just talked about this.
We're going Gators.
Back to this. So now we have another good game coming up. We have the ACC game. We have Duke going to the Louisville Cardinals. Louisville had us all at the beginning. Louisville had us all by the string, thinking that they were, good, that they were elite, and they pooped the bed big time.
Yes,
pooped the bed big time. Duke coming off a loss against Florida State, but without Riley Leonard, so that was also a really big loss to the Duke Blue Devils. Not having their starting quarterback or their second string quarterback, had to settle with the third string. Don't even know his name. Probably not even worth going to look up. But it's going to be an interesting game. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think it's going to be low. I think it's going to be a battle in the trenches because Duke, once again, as you said, has the fifth best defense in college football right now. So I'm going to take the Duke Blue Devils in this one. I'm going to take them with a score of 17-14.
All right. I
think it's going to be a close game.
Right, we got some consistency here. It's like we read each other's notes. But, yeah, man, Duke, I love their defense. Louisville, not sold completely anymore. I was never fully sold on that offense. The defense is good. Offensively, they're not going to be able to put up enough points against this Duke team, quarterback or not. Apparently, Riley Leonard is day-to-day. That's good enough news for me. Give me the Duke Blue Devils in this one, 24-20.
Like that.
All right, brother. Let's get this last pick in. The biggest game of the weekend, CDM. You want to start us off?
Oh man, I hate the Pac-12 haters not here, so we could talk about this amazing game that we have.
Right.
We have another Pac-12 matchup. We have the 6-1 Oregon, or sorry, 6-1 Oregon Ducks going up against the Utah Utes, coming off a very big win against the USC Trojans. Hashtag trash. Hashtag shouldn't be mentioned in the podcast anymore. So Oregon goes to Utah. Very tough environment to play in. Obviously, Pac-12 teams have some of the best stadiums, have some of the best fans as well. We saw that at the Washington game, how the 12th man really made it hard for that offense to get into a groove most of the time. So we'll see what Utah's fans can do, but we mostly want to see what Utah can do in general without Cam Rising. Another big matchup, another big test for Utah, because if you win this game and you give them their second loss, ultimately, you're one step away from making your third consecutive Pac-12 championship. As we said, as you told me before, they need some help. They need Oregon State to lose because that was the team they ultimately lost to. So I'm going to take Oregon. I think Oregon gets it done, obviously. I think Oregon is the better team when it comes to quarterback talent, when it comes to a roster as well. I think the defenses are pretty equal per se. I think the defenses are both pretty equal, both pretty good. But Oregon has Bo Nix. Oregon has their quarterback, their captain, their leader, most consecutive starts in college football himself. So I'm going to take Oregon. I'm going to take them 35-27. I don't think it's going to be a major blowout. I think it's going to be a closer game than most people think. I think Utah still gives them a run for their money, but at the end of the day, Oregon's offense is going to be too much for this Utah defense because, I mean, if you look at it now, Oregon and Washington have the best offenses in the Pac-12. UFC does not, even though they have the best talented roster on paper. Paper and on the field are two totally different things. Oregon gets it done and continue their hot streak of trying to make another Pac-12 to make a Pac-12 championship.
Give me the Utes, baby. Come on. We're getting upset.
Give them the Utes, baby.
We're going upset. We can't pick all the same teams. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I got probably a 2-loss. I'm two games behind CDM, but I don't care. I've got a weird feeling that Nolan may have been a prophet on this one where we see the Pac-12 kind of beat each other up a little bit.
I can see that happening. I mean, it's happening right now.
Utah's not bad. I mean, this team's good. That USC game proved that they can put points on the board a little bit. Oregon's defense is a lot better than USC's defense. That is a very true statement. But I like this little quarterback. I think he can get the job done if he doesn't throw turnovers, if he can find the end zone a couple of times, if Utah gets a couple of big plays on defense, turnovers. I see the Utes getting this one done, man. Give me the upset pick here. Oregon was the 6.5-point favorite. I got Utah covering 31-27.
Similar scores again. Okay,
yes.
Just on different sides.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be we have a good slate of games this weekend. I hope your picks go out, but I hope you lose at least one so I can continue my hot streak.
Yes.
But, may the best man win. Once again, have a beautiful slate of games this weekend. It's going to be another amazing week. Too bad we have to wait another week to get probably the most anticipated game of the year. With our teams, me being the Bama fan, you being the LSU Tiger fan, we have to wait a week for this game. So the anticipation is going to build up for next week's pod when we go into our game predictions and try and figure out who's going to win that game. Because I know we're both going to pick our teams. Obviously, I'm not going to pick LSU. You're not going to pick Bama, but it's going to be fun to see what happens after this weekend. But good luck to all these teams for sure. I hope that our predictions come right.
Yes, sir. I'm right there with you. Another great pod. Thank you, Gabe, for joining.
Another great pod, man.
And, of course, thank you, CDM, for co-hosting once again.
Always an honor. Always an honor.
Hey, y'all can find us everywhere. YouTube, you can watch us, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all podcast platforms you can listen. Please go out there and give us the support that we don't want it, but we'll appreciate it. Go out there and follow us.
We'll take support.
Hey, we'll take it. We'll take anything that y'all give, man. But at the end of the day, go follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We're all out there. Nate Dogg Sports, Nate Dogg Productions. Go give us some love. And we just love doing this. So we're going to keep doing this for you and for ourselves because we love it.
Exactly.
All right, my man.
Love putting out content.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a great night, and we will catch you next week on College Kings.
Peace.